Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Before we get into this, a lot of people asked yesterday, how come you seem like a bobblehead through yesterday's live stream? And again, last week, somebody told me I should get one of these under the desk bicycles to exercise since I sit so much. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And 2 days later, I was doing it. So I'll be looking like a bobblehead in a lot of live streams because I'm not getting any younger over here. And, again, get as much exercise as you can. So this under the desk bicycle thing, it's very doable. The downside is I look like a bobblehead. But anyway, a lot of you guys left comments saying you wish you could have called into yesterday's live stream. So I thought, let's do it again. We had a lot of people who left a comment, said they would have liked to have participated. Maybe they can't participate because this time frame doesn't work with them. But the middle of the day is when I have open these days. So that is when the streams happen. Again, the topic is, what really rules over humanity? Is it just other human beings? Is it greedy human beings? Is it sociopathic human beings? Is it not human? Is it alien? Is it demonic? Is it something like the Anunnaki theory? What is it? Is it David Icke's reptilians? Is it something else? Is it they live, which essentially alludes to aliens that look like humans? What is ruling over humanity? You know, we had a diversity of opinions yesterday, and I tend to lead towards sociopaths. Tend to what I think, but I don't know for certain. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day if it was any of these things. I wish, for some reason, when I try to share the screen of a YouTube video I want to share with you, I don't know if StreamYard changed something. Once upon a time on StreamYard, years ago, I could plug in my live feed of CNN and it would show up on the screen. But these days, if I try to do that, the screen's all blacked out. Right now, I wanted to show you guys a YouTube video, but the YouTube video is all blacked out. So I'm like, is this the new update? I can't show another YouTube video through StreamYard now? What's going on? But yeah, I wanted to show you guys something on YouTube. It's just not cooperating today. So anyway, we had this date circled at the beginning of the war, June 3rd, the 10th anniversary of the death of Muhammad Ali. Of course, his death was a sick joke in tribute to the Prophet Muhammad, who's believed to have died at age 63 on the Islamic calendar, which is a lunar calendar. And if you weren't following me years before Muhammad Ali died, I explained why I thought he was going to die at age 74 as he did. And Gematria, Muhammad equals 74, like killing. Very familiar pattern with death. But this story today about, here we are on June 3rd, and now the war is expanded into Kuwait, which brought about the Gulf War. Again, we were saying a lot of things were pointing to this date just at the start of the war, and I want to show you what I think they've done here. Remember, the war began with the U.S. and Iran on February 28th, which was two important anniversary dates. One, it was the 8th anniversary of the Temple coin coming out, which has Trump and King Cyrus's head on one side and the third temple on the other. And it's actively being sold to raise money to build the third temple, where a lot of people want to place it where Al-Aqsa Mosque is today, next to Temple Mount, or on Temple Mount, I should say, next to the Dome of the Rock. Al-Aqsa Mosque and Dome of the Rock are both on Temple Mount. And the other anniversary date that the war began on February 28th is the anniversary of the Gulf War ending, the first Gulf War with President George H.W. Bush. And what started that war? An attack on Kuwait. An attack on Kuwait, which happened August 2nd, 1990, brought about the first Gulf War, which ended February 28th, 1991. And notice, today is 60 days before the anniversary of the start of that war. August 2nd, 2026, 60 days. Again, there's been these endless 60 rituals in the time of Donald Trump. Trump taking all the credit for this war. You know, just the other day he was saying, had he not started this war with Iran, Israel would already be non-existent. It's just so annoying listening to Trump. I mean, it's just so annoying. It's like, who likes listening to this? Had you not started the war, Israel wouldn't exist. Really? Really, I thought last summer we obliterated their weapons program and sent it back to the Stone Ages, and they were at least a decade away from even beginning to recover. And then months later, we're starting another war. And Now, had we not done this attack, they would have used their weapons to annihilate. I mean, it's just so annoying, isn't it? It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Another top story today is the 60 Minutes guy was fired. The 60 Minutes guy fired by the numbers today. Do you guys see this? Longtime face of 60 Minutes, Scott Pelley. Apparently, he chewed out the new executive producer of 60 Minutes who just got hired on June 1st, which was the 152nd day of the year. He cussed him out on the 152nd day of the year. Scott Pelley, 152, chews out the new executive producer on the 152nd day of the year. And look at the new executive producer where he went to school. Wikipedia hasn't given him a date of birth yet, but look where he went to school. He went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Too many people went to that high school, didn't they? You know, they had that big hoax there, February 14th, 2018, total hoax. Started the March for Our Lives protest by the numbers. Big school shooting in the time of number 45, where number 45 came out and said he said he like take the guns first, due process second. If you remember all that, supposedly he's a Republican. He likes take the guns first, due process second. It's amazing anyone votes for any of these political parties that are both horribly un-American. But yeah, again, just all this crap, news by the numbers all day, every day, and talking about who rules over us. Again, if you have not seen the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage, who recently did you guys see that Nicolas Cage renamed himself Nick Cage? He just wants to be called Nick Cage. And he's a Coppola, related to Francis Ford Coppola. But if you have not seen Knowing, definitely watch that movie. Again, Knowing is about an MIT professor, Nick Cage, whose daughter's elementary school opens up a time capsule from 50 years earlier, from the class 50 years earlier. And understand, these are little kids. They're not older kids. They're little kids. They're elementary school age kids. And for all people who don't like the word kids, children. I know that kids are goats, but anyway, 50 years earlier, his daughter just happens to get the weirdest thing from the time capsule, a page of nothing but numbers. It's all numbers. It's all numbers. It's all numbers. It's all numbers. He's trying to decipher what all these numbers are and why some young child would write all this down. And he discovers that the numbers are, again, dates and coordinates for where major tragedies happened in the world. And he realizes, where it really starts to pop out to him is September 11th, 2000. He's like, oh. And then he starts to realize that a lot of the numbers and dates and coordinates on the page are unfulfilled. So again, he goes to the site of the next upcoming date and coordinates, and he's right there as a plane crashes right before him. Horrible tragedy. Commercial airliner crashes. And of course, that ties in with him having his epiphany with the 9/11 thing. But, to ruin the movie, at the end, he figures out that it's aliens that have figured out the future and have jotted it all down according to numbers. And, it's just another one of those Hollywood films that seems to be hinting at some kind of truth. Is Hollywood bending the truth by making it alien rather than Kabbalistic sociopaths? I don't know for sure. But, I just think it's interesting to hear what other people think and why. And yesterday we did get some interesting calls, and we got somebody in the back already ready to contribute who's got the same name as yours truly. So I know this is going to be good. So from one Zachary to another. What's up, Zachary?
How's it going, man?
It's going well. How you doing?
Pretty good. I wanted to come on here and say that, I'm pretty aligned with you in the sense of I don't think anyone can be like completely sure about like how this world truly works. I think people often are doing their ideas a disservice by being so certain in them. I think we should all be humble and practice, just sharing ideas, just trying to like figure out.
Yeah, stop pretending to know what you could not possibly know.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So I just go off, what have I experienced? What have I seen for the most part? And it seems to me that I think it probably is just like humans. I mean, I think this world is there's definitely more to it than it seems, but I think any sort of like demon, it's something that already exists within us. It's like a deep, dark part of humans. So demons basically only exist if you give them power. That's kind of the way I see it. It's like if you act on these impulses, you know, because a thought is just a thought. You can have any thoughts, but really our actions are what define us. So I feel like any like these world leaders who do these horrible things, they are pretty much they're engaging in like their worst thoughts. They're acting on their worst thoughts, and like anyone is capable of that. But like we have free will, right? So we can choose to act in what we see as goodness or what we see as evil, and we can do all kinds of crazy like justifications for whatever. But at the end of the day, I think that we do have free will, and because like what would the point of all this be if there's no free will? That's something I struggle to see, at least.
Yeah, I hear all that. I don't necessarily think that the cabal or whatever he wants to call it that seems to rule over humanity, I don't think that they realize that they're evil. I think that they just like being in control and they want to dominate and they want to stay on top, and they think if the ends justifies the means, then so be it. I don't know for sure, but I just imagine if I can get in their heads, that's the way it would be.
Sure.
So, I mean, I look at a guy like Bill Gates. I mean, how can Bill Gates for all these years be talking about how we have to save the earth, and now he's in huge favor of these data centers that eat up all these water and resources? To me, that doesn't. It's like, what? Does it make sense?
I mean, I feel like a lot of these, like the elite or like whatever, like Epstein, like they are self-sabotaging in a lot of ways. Like they don't actually act, and like that's kind of the case with a lot of like psychopaths or like sociopaths. They don't always actually act in pure selfish interest. They do self-destructive things, and they contradict themselves constantly. I don't know. I think part of it is just like this endless search for more and more pleasure or new novel experiences, right? That's why I think like pedophilia is a big thing with the ultra rich. Is just when you have everything you could ever ask for and you could like get anything, your brain starts wanting something new, something like wrong, you know, whatever. Like I think that could lend itself to that too. Just like this endless search for pleasure. The grass is always greener. It's just like trying to maximize pleasure in your life. But I don't think that's what we're here to do. I think we're here to experience, to make mistakes.
Is there any part of your mind that thinks you would have pleasure assaulting a child?
No, not my mind. But I think that if some people have everything, it's like there's no natural dopamine left to get. You know, it's I don't know how else to say it. It's like they have to go to these extremes to feel something. And I never wanted to live like that. That's why I'm not trying to be rich or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My personal take on people who abuse children is they were abused as children. Because I mean, I've worked in group homes and I've seen how children who are horribly abused learn to be predators to other children. And, you know, they'll take advantage of the smaller children in there.
Sure.
And, you know, years ago, it's funny, I was trying to look this up and the AI says the story doesn't exist at all. But I know for certain that years ago when I listened to a lot of talk radio, and maybe the guy made it up or maybe he didn't, but he was explaining that he knew that when George W. Bush was a child, he had a favorite pet dog and his family made him kill his dog to learn a lesson about being tough.
Mm.
And you can imagine how as a child, I mean, just any human being, if you have a pet, you love your pet almost like you love your rest of your family members. So to have to kill your own pet is essentially like having to kill a family member. And he was explaining that they do this stuff to make it be so that when they grow up to be world leaders, they're just used to being cruel and unusual and can go lie about the worst things to humanity. And that all made a lot of sense to me. But the thing is, if you try to look up this story, it says that never happened. George W. Bush never had to kill his pet dog. And I don't know if it's true or not because I heard somebody else talk about it on the radio. But again, it kind of sounds like things the government might do to raise sociopathic killers. And if you've seen this show, Utopia, that's kind of what they're doing to some people, that they're training as young people to grow up and be whatever they need them to be. I can see this kind of stuff going on too.
I think the socialization aspect, yeah, that's definitely a huge thing. I mean, even violent video games, like I clowned this idea as a kid. I was like, no, video games don't make you violent. But I do think, you know, Fortnite, Call of Duty, it's not necessarily, it's just kind of normalizing, it's numbing you to these things, you know? But yeah, with the case with George W. Bush and his dog, like that absolutely makes sense. Cause I don't think any human that, you know, any child that's born would naturally want to do that. Like humans don't have instincts to even hurt or kill animals. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not normal. You have to be taught to do that. And I do think that this huge form of mind control is just conditioning. You know, there's people in the world who have figured out, oh, if I take a child, a very impressionable person, and I do this to them or I make them do this, I can manipulate them to be a certain way. I think we see that with a lot of world leaders, these actors, these puppets. It's like they were bred for this, athletes, you know, whatever. It's like their whole life was set up to be whatever they wanted them to be.
Right. Yeah, and again, just from working at a group home, I learned a lot. There was a little boy, his name was Matt. He was about the cutest kid you ever saw. He was 7 years old, but the reason he couldn't exist in foster care is he killed other people's pets. He had a track record of murdering other people's pets. And again, it's, if you looked at his rap sheet from everything that happened to him, he was horribly abused. It's amazing how many parents will allow other people to do horrible things to their children. I don't know if they do it for income or whatever, but there's a lot of really disgusting stuff that goes on in society that never makes the news, And I mean, everyone's talking about the Epstein files. It's like, go in your own city and see how many horrible Epstein-like things are happening to just children in your own community from people that aren't named Jeffrey Epstein. But yeah, again, and I think that's a big point too. The things that happen to us when we're really young determine who we are as we grow up. And does our society set any young people up to have the right skills to exist in this world? I mean, almost nobody knows how to cooperate, and there's no real focus on that, hardly at all, in what I like to call slave school. I mean, you mostly just learn to compete and outdo your peers, and it makes a dog-eat-dog world, and that might serve the mega corporations that want us to all look at each other as individuals. And I just make the point, too. I mean, if we were all networking together, we could probably have one high-speed internet connection on the block and all share it and all work together. But in our minds, we're probably like, well, if I'm sharing my internet connection, my neighbor could be hacking me and getting it. We're all paranoid and worried somebody. And for a good reason, too, because, I mean, it is hard to trust anybody. I tried to help out my neighbor a decade ago, and he ended up robbing my house. I mean, that's the world we live in. And I thought maybe he must be a decent guy because he goes to church. But I learned the hard way that he wasn't a decent guy at all. So
I think deep down, everyone wants to love and be loved. I think that is very human. And I think that everything else that, these things, they are socially gained over time. And, some people have stronger will to like defy these things than others. But I think a lot of people get caught up in this shit because like, I can't really blame, like, I don't know. I feel like on here, you talk a lot about like how like stupid the everyday like American is. And like, I 100% agree. Like I see you, like, I hear you, but like, I can't give up on people. I don't know what it is. Like my parents.
I don't really give up on people either, you guys. All the things that I put out here that a lot of people might think are negative, I do feel that way about humanity. But when I'm face to face, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. Like I find myself like if someone is faceless, if it's like an abstraction, it's so much easier to like basically dehumanize them. Like if I'm driving and like I don't see someone, I'm like, oh my God, you idiot, you retard. You know what I'm saying? But like I know you were a teacher. I also work in education. And I feel like that was part of it for me. It's like, with students, right? There's never a student you want to be like, oh, I just don't like this kid. Like, fuck them. I'm giving up on them. You know what I'm saying? That's not okay. So I kind of extend that to all humans, or at least I try to. But it's so hard. My parents, for example, like they're so deluded by Donald Trump. And I can't see how any rational person at this point in time, like it's just so disheartening. But it's like they're so disconnected from like they're in a bubble, right? Because that's kind of what social media and like all this technology has done. It's like, oh, like my mom thinks that everyone on TikTok loves Trump because that's what her TikTok is. Like obviously, it's just people living their own world.
It's an echo chamber,
right? 100%. Right. And like I know I am too in many ways, right? Like my algorithm is all shit that is very catered to me. That's just how it is. But I think we need to actually get back to interacting in real life with people. Like we need to, I don't know, like I'm trying to get more involved with my community because like, I don't know, like I'm very inspired by what you do when you go out on the streets and you educate. Like I've seen some of that stuff. Like that shit's fire. Like I'm trying to do that for sure. Yeah, I actually there was one other thing on my mind I wanted to ask you about. Are you because I think about the entertainment industry often and just how that's used to manipulate and shape and all the ritualism. Have you heard of the Swedish pop artist / rapper Blade?
I have not.
He's a pretty big figure like underground rap circles, like music circles and shit. But there's just some weird stuff I've been noticing with him. There's he talks about numbers a lot in his songs. But anyway, the thing I want to mention, because his newest album is called Sulfur Surfer. It's SS. And it had me thinking about this connection to Sydney Sweeney because Blade, he raps about, and he talks about St. George the Martyr. He's really obsessed with St. George. And I found out recently that Sydney Sweeney went to like a St. George school in Spokane.
Yeah,
and the new album
Gonzaga's out there.
Right. And that's Jesuit school, right?
And if you guys forgot, the week that she was making all the news about supposedly her SS jeans ad about having good jeans, if you remember, and that was the big controversy in America.
Yeah.
That same week, oh God, what's his name? He's also from Spokane, the baseball great who played for the Cubs and Phillies. He died synced with the Pope. I'm losing my mind right now. But again, just two, there's not a whole lot of people from Spokane. So you got two celebrities from Spokane, big on the world stage and just in the news at the same time. Here's the young one on the up and coming for her SS jeans ad. And then Ryan Sandberg, that's what I'm thinking about. Ryan Sandberg died at the same time. But anyway, go ahead.
No, that was really it. Just, the SS, the new album was called SS. Blade is also like a white guy. And I feel like there's a sect of his fans that are into like white supremacy or like Nazis and shit. So it was just very strange to me, like, because I love Blade personally. And, I don't like to think about how these people are being used for all these games. But like, the SS, Sydney Sweeney, St. George the Martyrs, Sydney Sweeney went to that school. And then, of course, Sydney Sweeney also associated with Nazism and white supremacy. So it was just strange.
Yeah, and maybe they just did that with both of them because they have the SS initials, or maybe there is something deeper there. But yeah. All right, Zach. Well, always good to hear from another Zach. Glad you're out there, man.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, take care. All right, we got Gematria32, and then we got The Voice, GAD, and then I'm hoping we're going to hear from some of these people who left a comment that want to participate. What's up, GAD? Or not GAD. What's up, Gematria32?
You want him to go first? Oh, you could.
No, you're up first. No, I want you to go first. You're here first.
Flood the room. Bring everybody in.
Well, if we get enough people here when I have to go pick up my daughter, maybe I'll just leave it an open panel while I go get her.
How you felt about that story about that 17-year-old that died after Game 6?
Oh, wait, 17-year-old that died after what?
After Game 6 in the Spurs.
Oh, yeah, and they called him Joey. I did see that. Joey equals 17. Yeah, the 17 league NBA,
Yeah, just amazing, right? I seen another headline today about it, and just crazy, right?
Yeah, it is sick how this stuff happens all the time.
Do you see the headline about what's his name, the QB, Khalid Williams?
Who?
The Bears QB that he doesn't fear Madden curse.
Oh yeah, they put Caleb Williams on the cover of Madden. Go figure. Again, you guys, Caleb Williams' season ended last year, 61 days after his birthday versus the Rams, who are hosting Super Bowl 61. We talked about this yesterday. The Bear and the Rams with the Ukraine color. Looks like upcoming tribute to the war with Russia and Ukraine that contributed so much to inflation. You guys learn the number thing. I still remember the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine equals 79. They're putting on the headlines, inflation up 7.9% because of war in Ukraine. It's like, look at this bullshit they just feed us. Anyway.
Yeah, just bullshit. The Madden curse, all that shit. The headlines, they had it in quotations. But also, they say Peebo Bryson. You know who that is? Peebo Bryson.
By the way, did they put him on the Madden cover 109 days from his birthday?
I think it was yesterday. I don't know when's his birthday. I didn't do
because Los Angeles equals 109, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know it does because I'm pretty sure they did put him on there 109 days before. So I feel like something's coming here with the Bears in LA. Okay.
Yeah, but this is I guess.
No. Just so you guys know, they did not put him on there 109 days from his birthday. Whoever gave me that piece of intel earlier was not correct.
You didn't double check.
Did you know he went to a high school called Gonzaga College? That's weird. So he obviously went to a Jesuit high school.
Yeah, Gonzaga College. Oh shit. Today's the 154th day of the year, so there's a lot of death in the news. I'm just saying there's a lot of they're reporting. You know how that goes. Do you know Peebo Bryson, the singer? They saying they reported him dying. I didn't decode the thing, but he's a real famous singer. He sang with Celine Dion, Roberta Flack, I think, and
Roberta Flack.
He was big with Disney and stuff. So, but so you think that we got interdimensional aliens and stuff like that going?
I don't know.
In the world?
I don't know.
No, I think it's humans, man. It's humans. Corrupt.
They definitely got an alien theme going on though right now. They got the alien in the NBA Finals. They got Disclosure Day. So they got all these guys on TV. They got a congressional hearing, you guys, on June 9th. There's a whistleblower saying that he's got the facts that the U.S. government's hiding the aliens.
Wasn't it you or some? They said you have an alien sighting like on June 8th or something like that. I think
Who had an
'cause,
alien sighting?
no, that there might be because aliens 60-24 and that day has 60.
Well, I would say that I think
numerology.
their big alien agenda is going to come to a head in 2041. Again, alien equals 41 and 94. It's going to be 94 years after 1947 when all the alien stuff started.
So
And
people,
I was thinking about that with a basketball court too, because San Antonio equals 41 and a basketball court's 94 feet long, and now the star of the league is Alien Wemby.
Yeah. We don't got the Twin Towers, but we got one. Wemby, like how they, two towers became one.
Yeah.
With David Robinson and Tim Duncan, they used to call them the Twin Towers, right?
And by the way, you guys, we just on Patreon this morning, we realized that the Statue of Liberty, which is from France, like Wemby, it was sent over in 214 crates. And again, the Knicks right now are on 214 losses in the postseason. And the last game of the conference finals was 111-103 for 214 points. Spurs won 111-103. New York equals 111. The NBA Finals 111. The Oklahoma City Thunder 103. First game of the finals on Wednesday, Mercury Day, 103 day. But yeah, nice little piece of history there and tribute in the numbers, the old 214.
You got some people in the background. Let somebody else get on, Zach. Great work, man. Keep it going.
All right. Thanks, Gematria32. All right, we got GAD, and then we got E. Lewine. GAD, don't forget to unmute. Oh, wait, did he freeze? Oh, there he is. It's broken up today. It's broken up.
It's broken up. Can you hear me now?
It's still broken up, but I hear you better than I did a second ago.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but there's some kind of static.
Damn. Give me about 5 seconds.
He's gonna do it real quick. While he's figuring that out, this super chat, Cat. I want to call him Cat Williams. Cat, who went from Minnesota to New York right before the WNBA Finals, was Minnesota to New York. His first day with the Knicks, he wore a T-shirt that said 1999 NBA Finals, Spurs Knicks. So now here he is. And again, just
can you hear me now?
Just go ahead. There's a little bit of static, but it's better than it was. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead and finish what you're saying. I did want to address. No, go ahead.
Okay, just about the number rituals. It's been 27 years since the 1999 NBA Finals. The Spurs are favored to win. If they win, they're going to have 27 wins in games in the finals, and the Knicks would fall to 2-7 in final series. Keep in mind the word soccer equals 27, what we call football. The last time the World Cup was in America, the Knicks played in the finals. They lost to the other Texas team, Houston, which goes with the whole Carmelo Anthony thing. He played for the Knicks in Houston, and you got the Carmelo Anthony stabbing trial starting right now. That happened in Texas. More predictive programming. It happened the same day Carmelo Anthony was nominated to the Hall of Fame. And remember the soccer thing. It was caught in our community back in December. The NBA Cup was 215 days from the World Cup championship, and San Antonio Spurs equals 215, and France is one of the favorite teams to win it. They got the star Mbappe. If this finals does end in Game 6, keep in mind that is the day that France plays their first World Cup game, and they play in the New York Giants and Jet Stadium. They actually play in New Jersey in the 201 area code, but that's the New York Giants and Jet Stadium. That's June 16th, which, funny enough, was Game 1 of the 1999 NBA Finals. And by the way, go back and look at the 1999 NBA Finals because Spurs won Game 1 by 12. The Knicks are trying to shock the Spurs in Game 1 and continue a 12-game winning streak. Also, go back and look at the last game of the 99 NBA Finals. The Spurs won 78-77. New York equals 78, like NBA Finals. If the Spurs win the finals this year, they'll have 78 wins for the whole season, which is the 12th triangular number. Again, rig sports always tributes to history, how the sports intersect. And for all you Knicks fans, there's a prayer out there. Jalen Brunson's father's got the same birthday as Trump. He's 53 years old. The Knicks haven't won the finals in 53 years. There's a few other things, but again, it is just one big script, and that's why Cat is wearing the Knicks Spurs 99 NBA final shirt on his first day with the Knicks. All right, let's try it out, GAD. Oh, you muted yourself.
Can you hear me?
That sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So with this current NBA Finals, right? What I don't know if you noticed that professional wrestler Danhausen. So I was looking at the gematria. Huh?
The whole curse thing.
Yeah. So I looked at his name right in gematria. His name in gematria is 33. In New York, is 33, and I guess I think a couple of weeks ago he supposedly cursed the Knicks for this finals and shit. So, and they've been featuring this guy because they have that deal with ESPN. They've been featuring him on Stephen A. Smith. So it might look like they're trying to set up a San Antonio Spurs victory, maybe, but yeah, I mean that shit. That we saw with him doing that whole curse thing, cursing them first, but then cursing the Cleveland Cavaliers just for them to go 4-0. It's fucking. To me, that this shit is kind of insane that they do that shit on the world stage and people think this shit's fucking real and shit, man.
Incorporating the WWE with another pro sports league again too, just mocking people.
Hey, but I'll say this with professional wrestling though, right? At least the shit is. At least they'll admit that their shit is fake. I think it's the most realistic of all of them, to be honest with you, because at least they'll let you know that their shit is fake. When it comes to the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, so on and so forth, all that shit is scripted nonsense. And it's funny because it seemed like they're more, I would say, more and more showing the ritualism and whatnot. Because mind you, the character that Danhausen is playing, right, is supposed to be a damn vampire. And of course, vampires are also associated with witchcraft and shit. So, when you go look into the etymology and all this other stuff, and there's other shit that goes on with it. But yeah, it's a lot of shit that's going on with that character.
By the way, from the day of the curse to the final start, 47 days, like the first pro basketball championship was in 47. Go figure, another 47 ritual.
Yeah, but another 47. I think there was another key number symbolism that was on his name that when I was looking his name up. Actually, let me see if I have that. Okay, so yeah, because I think in the reverse ordinal it's 33, right? So
his Danhausen equals 33 like NBA Finals and 48 in reverse like the NBA Finals. And if you counted the span of days, it'd be a span of 48 days rather than 33 or rather than 47 days later.
Yeah, 48. Yep. Yeah, that was the other number I was thinking about.
GAD, your signal's starting to cut out again.
Yeah, and I also said his merchandise, right? I do kind of follow that with me, what I'm saying, just to watch to see what's going on. I did notice that his character that they're using right now, his merch is selling merch in the company. He's only been with the company for about a couple months, which is ironic because he just came in. He wasn't their guy or anything like that. He just came in and they, which all that stuff is, rigged as far as like the sales and all that other shit. So, but yeah, I found that kind of interesting. I wanted to bring that up. But as far as like with the title of the show that you have, what is rolling over humanity? I mean, look, yeah, I understand your perspective, right? Because you understand that there's a certain concept of the scriptures that they're using to script world prophecy, which is very obvious to see, right? No matter what you believe in, most Christians, you try to tell them this type of stuff, they're not going to understand much of anything when it comes to history or even, you know, the biblical aspect. But my point being is that, like, when you're dealing with like the Vatican and the Jesuits, I mean, that's pretty much who's running the show. Now, is it an entity that they follow? Of course. I mean, you know, when you deal with of course, you understand the mystery school system of Babylon and Egypt and the Canaanite rituals and whatnot. They serve their specific gods, and all their gods, whether it be Amun Ra, whether it be Beelzebub or Baal or whoever, or Molech, so on and so forth, right? Or even some of the Babylonian deities like Tiamat and whatnot. It's all nothing but a representation of the same entity of Satan, right? And they also worship the the Baphomet. They worship the what's the other deity they worship? The horn god, which is Satan. I mean, so it's all analogous to the same being that when you go back into times of antiquity, you start to realize, I mean, this the same ritual, just under a different guise, under a different and all this stuff is historical knowledge that we all can look up as well. Now, to say that, do we know every intricacy that goes on? No. But when you're dealing with like what we call the flood, like people that myself that believes in the truth of the scriptures, the antediluvian world, this is where they're trying to move society in today's time is where the era of that time was at, as far as technology and sorcery and shit and whatnot, witchcraft, because it's very obvious that there is a entity that's giving them power not only over the masses but to do things that they do. Because like you said, when it comes to like these sporting events or these, not even just sporting events, but just these events as a whole, how they all synchronize numerically, astrologically, the way they do, it's hard to really say that this shit is all coincidence, and to say that there's not a certain force driving them. I mean, but at the end of the day, one thing I will say, just from my perspective, right, as an Israelite, as a person that believes in the Bible, the truth of the Bible from that standpoint, of course, you know, once again, they do script things from the prophecies to create their prophecies of World War III and so on and so forth. But there is a certain, obviously, when we look at some of their media, there is a direct attack on the Most High and a direct attack on the scriptures or the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible in and of itself. When you look into a lot of their media, you know, and a lot of the things that you brought out as far as this gematria thing, it pieces together what myself already knows, but just on a certain level, it just makes a whole lot more sense. But overall, that's what's really going on. And obviously, the way they're doing things so rapidly right now, as far as putting out these events. And I just want to ask this real quick question before I get off of here. Did you ever cover that 3IA Atlas situation with the little spaceship that they said it was a meteorite, but independent sources were saying that was a spaceship. Did you ever cover
about this? No. When did this happen?
Okay, so this been going on since last year, and it going all the way down to the December of last year. People were reporting this very mothership-like spaceship that was hovering around the Earth, right? But the mainstream media was trying to play it off to say it was a meteorite, or they weren't even talking about it at all. When it comes to things inside the Earth or inside the atmosphere of the Earth, they have control of it. But when it comes to extraterrestrial things, and it's going into the whole alien thing, right? Which people in my belief system call the chariots of the Most High and the angelic beings that operate them. And there's astronauts that have reported of these beings before. They don't have really much control over that. So when it comes to that, they understand that there's going to be a particular war that they're going to have to go through, dealing with the cabal and whatnot against the force, basically against the forces of the Most High that's reported in the scriptures. So to me, that's where my understanding comes from. But overall, like, this witchcraft and this sorcery and the stuff that they're doing is very real. And the entity that's controlling them, I mean, they give them praise all day. They give them praise every day through their media and through their symbolism, which is Satan, which there's different variations of Satan. So that.
Well, very interesting thoughts as always. I'll look more into that story you just brought up because I didn't know about that one until just now.
Yeah. Look it up. It's called the 3IA Atlas. I mean, I know that Atlas is I believe that's a Greek deity and whatnot, but the point is that that's what they called it because it was something with the constellations that the reason why they gave it that name. But independent astrologers that were not mainstream were reporting on it almost every day. And you can find news articles, but like CNN, Fox, and all these other MSNBC, MSNBC, they weren't reporting on it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I will look more into it.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had, Saga. Yeah, I wanted to call in last show, but yeah, I'm glad that you brought up this topic again.
All right. Yeah. Hoping we get more opinions. A lot of people thought it was interesting. Thank you, GAD. You have a good day, man.
Thank you, man.
All right, take care. All right, we got Elohim up next, and then I got a comment on this super chat. And yes, Adam, I've shown the clip of John Cena back at the ESPYs with Russell Wilson. It was right after the handoff debacle where Brady won another rigged Super Bowl. I've talked about that clip many times. I mean, that was from after Super Bowl 49. That was over a decade ago. All right, what's up, Elohim?
Yo, Hubbard.
Yo.
Before I get to the title, man, measure. You got a calculator with you right there, the day calculator?
Well, I can always put it up on the screen. All right, what do we want to measure from?
Yo, measure from November 1st, 2025 to today.
214 days.
Guess whose birthday that is?
November 1st?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's not yours. Who?
Stephon Castle.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yo, Zach, did you hear about the thing they got going on with him and Wemby? How they called him Area 51?
Yeah, there's another alien reference right there. Okay.
You heard about that, huh?
He was the fourth pick and Wemby was the first pick, like San Antonio's 41, Alien 41.
Wow.
Hold on real quick.
They,
Keep talking. I'm going to be back in 2 seconds, everybody. Or, well, more like 30 seconds, but I'll be right back, Elohim. Sorry.
Okay, well, I was going to go to good old Wemby's birthday. January 4th, 2026 to today. 215 days. No, from his upcoming, my bad. January 4th, 2027. From today to his upcoming. Yo, Zach, measure from today to January 4th, 2027.
Hey, his birthday is 4/1/2. Well, here, I'll just put all this stuff up on the screen so people can see. Basketball References has their birthdays up here from their last. You got to do the calculation to their upcoming. 150 days or the 151st day of his age?
No. 2027, his upcoming Wemby.
205 days? Or wait, 215 days. Yeah, San Antonio Spurs, 215.
Now, we know what number can play today. You know. Yeah. We yo, Zach. Oh man, yo, measure from November 15th. Measure from November 15th, 2026. No, 2025 to today.
Well, November 1st was 214 days later, so it's got to be 200 days later or a span of 201.
Guess whose birthday that is?
I don't know, but whenever I think of November 15th, I think about my house getting robbed. Whose birthday is it?
Cat.
Oh, Cat. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Carl Anthony Towns, whose whole family died from Cooties 19. Okay.
What a script. Just a lie. Just a bullshit. You know that's bullshit.
Yeah. And again, like Gematria32 saying in the chat, 201 days upcoming this year is the winter solstice, which is Macron's birthday, Mr. France, with all this Frenchy stuff.
Hold on, say that again.
Macron, the leader of France, his birthday is in 201 days.
From today?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, with the Caleb Williams stuff, it was 88 days, Zach. It's 88 days after his birthday.
Okay.
It's not 109. California. No, cause I saw you. I heard you say that earlier. You got a wrong stat. It was 88 days. 88 days after. Yeah, 88 days after Caleb Williams' birthday. They have him in California. So, but anyways, to get on the topic here, really to start, I'm gonna start with the Myles Garrett thing with Kobe. I mean, what a perfect way to start, what a Nephilim. what a perfect way to start. Now, I don't have all the answers, guys. I don't have all the answers. I don't claim to have all the answers. I'm just a spirit living through a human vessel and just going through the human experience just like everybody else, right? But Zach, when you pull up Myles Garrett on the screen, can you pull up Myles Garrett?
I'm already reading your mind. Myles Garrett and Kobe Bryant side by side. Let's see if we get the side by side here. Some people think Myles Garrett and Kobe Bryant are the same person.
Now, I don't have all the answers, and I can't give you guys blatant proof. Like I can give you guys a number decode that he's 100% Kobe. But guys, look at that face, guys.
Where did it just go? I just had it up here. How did it just disappear? Thank you. Can we just stay right there? Okay.
Guys.
So video.
Zach, go on Google. You might have to
All
pause it. Yeah, there you go. Guys, you can't fool me. And Zach, I think the biggest mockery is him really going to LA, Zach. I think they're just laughing in our face with that.
I'll remind people, when you guys started proposing this theory to me that they're the same person, I said, listen, a lot of these athletes probably come from the same damn bloodline. Sometimes cousins look a lot alike. I wouldn't be surprised if they're from the same family tree, but it's hard for me to imagine they're the same person. Myles Garrett's a bit younger there than Kobe, and he has definitely a beefier body.
Zach, did you see Myles Garrett play basketball?
I'm sure he can play basketball.
No, but he plays just like Kobe. Zach, you need to pull up the.
All right, let me find this video of him playing like Kobe, because Kobe plays just like Jordan. I mean, he emulating Jordan. So let's see.
Zach, this motherfucker. Zach, he was doing a windmill. He was windmilling, Zach.
I've never seen Kobe do the windmill.
Man,
look at Myles Garrett on a basketball court. He looks like he would break Kobe into two pieces.
Zach,
come on, man. Come on. Kobe was never this big. This looks like tractor trailer out here without the gut.
Zach, but it's not about the suit. It's about the skill. It's about the talent out there. Now you can say, oh, he's just a great athlete. But guys, this is mockery, guys. This is the Jesuits laughing in your face. I'm telling you. And again, man, him going to LA, Zach, I think that's just more mockery. Again, I can't 100%.
By the way, I have to interrupt. For all you guys who hate on Elohim, you guys got to stop hating. Elohim is doing great in life. Elohim's awesome with the knowledge. Elohim's helping people win money. We don't have to agree that Myles Garrett's Kobe Bryant. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I would not be surprised in the least if they are related. I mean, I see the resemblance. Anyway, go ahead.
Correct. Like I said.
And by the way, we had CTE on here yesterday, who all CTE brings up is how Elohim, one of my disciples, believes Myles Garrett. CTE can't even afford a car and has to go online and pretend to be Clayton Bigsby to make a living. Elohim's patting his pockets off the knowledge. So, anyway, go ahead, Elohim.
Look, I'm not coming on here and saying that he's 100% Kobe. I don't have that type of proof. You know, I don't have all the answers. All I'm saying is something is going on. That's all I'm saying. Guys, something is going on. And yeah, we know how these people like to play these jokes right in front of our face. So, you know.
Again, I think we have a lot of evidence they are literally breeding athletes to play on the pro stage. And again, where's this genetic bloodline of all these 7-footers and stuff in the NBA? I mean, we know in society there's not a whole lot of people that are anywhere near 7 feet tall. And all of my life, I've known one person who was 6'10", and he looked super awkward. His face was all deformed. Goofy as everything. He did say he tried to play college basketball. He was so uncoordinated, it didn't work out too well. Where is this genetic bloodline of 7-foot athletic, pretty decent looking people too? A lot of these athletes that are now 7 feet tall, you know, look halfway handsome. Where is this coming from? And how come everything about their careers is so perfectly lined up by the numbers? And if it is that they're being farmed, I mean, do they have a little, family tree here of super great genetics for super athletes? And could Kobe Bryant and Myles Garrett be from that same family tree? I mean, to me, that's a lot more easy to explain than Myles Garrett being Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, because, I mean, look at Wemby. It literally looked like they just went and got a super tall, athletic black man to go literally have intercourse with a tall white woman, you know, and now you get Wemby, you know.
One other thing I say about him is that, they're calling him the alien, and I've been saying for years, if anybody on Earth is an alien, it's the damn new commissioner of the NBA. He's the weirdest looking person on Earth.
Yeah, he looks like there's like memes of him going on Twitter of like how he walks like a robot. And,
He's real stiff. Yeah, he's super stiff.
Yeah. But anyway, Zach, you heard about the other 7-footer that's supposed to be coming from Europe? I think he's 7'5", 7'4". He's supposed to be coming from Europe to challenge Wemby. You heard about him?
No.
Zach, they're breeding these kids, man. They're breeding these athletes, Zach. I need to find the lab. We need to find the lab, man. Hold on, what happened to CTE channel?
He said he's on vacation. He said he starts back tomorrow.
Oh, man. Oh, man, that guy, man. But anyways, yeah, I really just wanted to come on here, man. It's the Nephilims. I don't really want to get too biblical on y'all today, but it's the Nephilims. Zach, what do you think about this soul, this soul, what they call it? Is it soul swapping?
Oh, Hollywood's made some movies about this. Like an old person getting put into a younger person's body. Is this what you're saying?
Yeah, black magic.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, seems far-fetched to me, but I guess anything's possible.
I mean, they put it in your face in the movie Him.
What with the injecting the blood?
Not even that. I mean, I feel like that was a metaphor. No, really, him laying on the thing at the end.
You mean how seemingly Satan pulls that guy into the pentagram and blows him into a million pieces?
Oh, when he lays on the circle and they're trying to have a demon possess him.
I better go back and watch the movie. Somehow I seem to have missed that scene.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, and then he gets up and he He fights. Zach, you didn't watch the movie?
Well, I remember them trying to make him sign in the book of. They make him sign in that demonic book with his blood. I remember that part, and then he says no, and then goes to town. The thing you wish would happen.
And then he's laying on the pentagram.
I pretty much everything when I do things now, my hands are I'm always doing two things at once. I must have somehow missed that. But I know what pentagram you're talking about because I saw that as part of the scene. I didn't realize he was laying in it.
Yeah, he's laying there, his shirt off. This is like literally the end of the scene where he's like covered in blood. He's laying there, and they're basically trying to. That's another thing that Zach. I think a lot of these celebrities, like, I don't think they're. I think it's old spirits in them.
Yeah, maybe. I see what you're trying to say.
Because I was hearing this one guy. He was talking about this one rapper that he grew up with. I forgot his name, but he was talking about how once that rapper became mainstream, he could just go in the booth and just get a song out in like minutes, like, like crazy. Like, he never used to do that. Almost like, it's something else in that vessel now. You get what I'm saying? Almost like, because you always hear these celebrities, even in the UFC, they always talk about I was blacked out in there. It's a higher power that was in control of me in there. Like, you always hear that, Zach. So all I'm gonna say is, man, something is going on, man. I think they're swapping spirits. Black magic is real. It exists in my African culture. So we already know the government is literally using black magic on these poor Americans. I mean, look at these Americans in the chat. These poor Americans.
You guys, Disney always talks about the world of magic, and again, my daughter hears Mika, Muska, Mickey Mouse one time and just seems instantly hooked to it. It's just like, what in the world? And what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, that's scary, Zach. You need to turn the TV off.
Well,
you need to turn the TV off.
We're definitely limiting the Mickey Mouse, but we lost Eloine. But yeah, I mean, look at all the kids hooked on Disney. Is it magic? All right, we got Matthew. We got Justin. What's up, Matthew?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? I don't got a real long submission here. I just wanted to talk about how the world of entertainment collides with sports. There was an interesting thing that I found. Have you ever seen the show called The Boys?
Well, here, let's start with a simple example. Drake puts out Iceman album in tribute to George Gervin, no doubt, and then George Gervin's Spurs are in the NBA Finals by the numbers days later. Yeah. By the way, the first game of the Western Conference Finals was 21 days after George Gervin's birthday. Spurs equals 21. George Gervin's 74 years old. The Knicks advanced to face the Spurs the Spurs advanced to the finals with 74 wins while George Gervin's 74 years old. George Gervin better look out. Mm-hmm. But okay, about The Boys. I've heard of this show. I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. It's a show on I believe Prime. They have a character on there. It's a very popular character. His name is Frenchie. And he actually dies in the 39th episode. And the whole connection with New York and the Spurs and whatnot. But what I saw here was that episode aired on May 13th, and that was exactly 21 days before the finals start tonight. And Spurs sum to 29. And then when you write out Boys, it sums to 61. And I thought that was pretty interesting because finals sums to 61. And the title of the episode itself is called The Frenchman, the Female, and the Man Called Mother's Milk, but they have commas with like each one. When you put in The Frenchman, it sums to 61 in the pure cipher. So it looks like they're, predictive programming again. And you know what I'm saying? Just for the whole French thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. Again, the world of entertainment, one big script. I'm also thinking about how one of the biggest shows on TV right now is Euphoria. And
that was a great decode.
Alamo. And what's Alamo make you think of?
Yeah. No, you're right. Actually, I think First Take did their thing at the Alamo today, like their film session or whatever you call it. Yeah, so that's a very good point. Very good point. But yeah, that's all I had, man. I just wanted to point that out. That's all.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
You have a great day. All right, thank you.
I got to answer that. We got to go to Justin next, but I got to answer this or respond to this. It's all by design. Thank you for the big super chat. He said a lien, and a lien is like alien, right? Is a legal claim or hold placed on a person's property by a creditor to secure the payment of a debt or the fulfillment of an obligation. Lien originated in the 1530s, meaning a bond, a tie. And again, think about that, you guys. Central bankers with the Federal Reserve, it gets established, and the next thing you know, it's just nonstop world wars. Yeah, we'll give you money, but you're going to do what we tell you to do. And you know what makes a lot of money for us? War, because then we get to lend you more money and get to pay us more interest. You guys should look at how much of our tax money just goes to paying the bankers' interest. I mean, talk about just making a killing off a killing. Yeah, and then we have the term illegal aliens, foreign bankers running the country. Everyone's like, yeah, bankers, small hats. Wrong. Who invented banking? Oh, that's right. The Templars, military order of the Pope. This Rothschild family, everybody knows their name. Money managers for the Vatican. What's up, Justin?
Oh, hey. I could hear me.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, hey. No, I just wanted to, I guess, pitch in on the whole alien demon thing or whatever. Before I do, what's like a quick summary of what you think of it?
A quick summary of what?
Of what you think of this whole alien demon thing, question or whatever.
Oh, I don't know. That's why I asked you guys.
Yeah, so if you look up this YouTube channel called the Tucson Lights, this guy, his name is Jeff Woolwine, and he's been documenting these plasmoid orb phenomenon, like sightings. And what he thinks this whole alien thing is these pretty much like plasmoid beings. And he thinks that the whole, nuts and bolts, like they're coming in crafts from other worlds, is all bullshit. It's all pretty much like interdimensional kind of a thing, like what we would call interdimensional, but these beings are just made of plasma.
Okay. Did you drop out, or are we done with the thought? What happened there?
Oh, sorry. Could you hear me? Sorry.
You're back now.
What was the last thing I said? Sorry.
You're talking about this plasma thing.
So he's been documenting these plasmoid orb thing events. And he actually got it down to like a science of like where they meet, and they meet around, certain mountains in the Tucson area. But he's pretty much gathered from what the Native Americans said about these beings and stuff, into thinking that the whole alien thing is pretty much, it's all tied to plasma. Like Sasquatch, like it's a plasmoid being, like a interdimensional plasmoid being, or like any cryptid you could think of, like the Jersey Devil or whatever. And it's like when you see something like that in the physical reality, it's like pressing your finger up against a television and seeing that static, kind of thing. Like that's what we're seeing on our end, but like the being is much more, it's made out of plasma, it's in another dimension almost. So it's like that's what we see on our end, pretty much. But I mean, and I live in the area, in the Tucson area, and I see these things, man. Like they're around. Like if you look at any of his videos, he posts videos almost every day of these things, and it's like you can't say that they're satellites because I've checked that. You can't say they're planes because they don't have any indicators or anything. I've seen them like form into triangles, like make triangle shapes. I've seen them do like circular turns, like as far, and they're very far away, mind you, like at least 50 to 100 miles away. They'll probably, is what I'm guessing, because I've tried like driving out like to see them, and they're always like far away. But that's pretty much what I think this thing is, and this is what like the cabal kind of they kind of worship in a sense, or like what you could call like what owns the cabal. It's probably has something to do with this, some kind of interdimensional. You call them aliens or Anunnaki or whatever. But yeah, I think that's kind of like who runs the show, I guess. Sorry, I kind of rambled on.
All right, Justin. Well, interesting. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, take care. Yeah, the only experience I have with anything seemingly beyond this world is when I lived at that house in Bothell. And again, it is captured on camera. The one day I said I was brainstorming like this about why Trump was going to win the election, and then the lights just turned on in the garage, and then they just turned off on their own. And I know a lot of people are like, Zach jerry-rigged that to make that. I didn't. I mean, it was just a really weird thing. Some people just thought it was a weird wiring thing that day, but it never happened again. It just happened that one day. But that wasn't the first weird thing in that house. And I was already telling people about the weird things that happened in that house. We were told when we bought the house that the daughter of the owners had died there. She had some illness. It wasn't like she was murdered or something, but she did pass away in the house. And there were a lot of weird things that happened in that house. When Sweet Lady and I first started dating, Sweet Lady got to witness one of the weird things. We woke up to a huge bang, and it was my cell phone. My cell phone had flown across the room and was busted. It smashed into the wall in pieces. There were a lot of weird things that happened in that house, and all I thought is it must have something to do with this woman who died here. Her spirit must be here, and some things must anger her. And maybe she knew I was right about the whole Trump thing. Who knows? I mean, it's just... And again, the thing I'll remind you guys about, too, that was real weird is when I moved... You guys can look it up. I'm sure it's still out there in the news because it was covered in the news. Around the same time that I moved to Bothell, which is just north of Seattle, they do something where they rank the most haunted house in the world. There was a house in Bothell that was ranked as the most haunted house in the world at the time. So it obviously wasn't too far from where I'm living. And they do say that a lot of natives were slaughtered in that area. So I think about that too. But not the only experience I've had was something beyond this world. What's up, Elohim?
Yo, Zach, look at the private chat, man. You got that stat down in your stat? That's one thing I see in your stats, man.
That's in my stats. That's in my notes today. The Spurs beat the finals or beat the Knicks 4-1 in the 99 finals. Spurs in San Antonio 41, Alien 41.
Oh, so you got them 1-4, huh?
Well, I think I wrote down that San Antonio leads Knicks 4-1 in the finals in the NBA playoffs. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that all you wanted to share? I guess that's all I want to share. All right. What's up, Spam Wave? Spam Wave, you look like you're you're in the film room. It's been so long since we used a real camera, but that's what the room would look like when you were making the picture do its thing. You had to be in the room with the red light. Where are you? Are you in the red light district? What's going on? I think your mic's on mute too. By the way, guys, if you ever meet a cute girl and you go back to her place and she turns on the light in her room and it's a red light, you might want to run the other way. Spam Wave. I can't hear you. Okay, we said ranged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 says, Zach, can you talk about the tweet? A new era for PC by Microsoft, ARM, and NVIDIA 3 days ago. Let me look into it. A new era of PC. Well, I guess it only makes sense with all the crazy new technology coming out and all the investment into all these AI data centers. God knows what they're going to do with them besides the surveillance state. A new era of PC. Well, here it is right here. Yeah, for the age of AI. I'm sure we're curious about the timing of it. All right, let me find this tweet. Where's the tweet at? Was it posted on May 31st? I'm just trying to find a screenshot of the tweet here, the specific date. May 29th, posted on JFK's birthday anniversary. All right, hold on. I'll think more about it, but let me get Spamwave TV in here first. What's up, Spamwave?
Hey man, what's up? Do you know who discovered the first element?
I don't know.
So the first element was discovered by someone trying to find something called the Philosopher's Stone, and like it was like some kind of like key to immortality or something. And so basically, it was this long ritual that you had to do with like pee, and so this guy boiled it down into like this syrup, and he made phosphorus, and that's how the first element was that's how the first pure element was discovered. Now the person who did that was named Hennig Brand. Guess what that equals?
I don't know.
Big old 201, big fat 201. And what's interesting
what's the guy's name again?
Hennig Brand, spelled Hennig.
I got it. German alchemist. Okay, Germany too.
And then phosphorus, of course, is 56. And so that was the first element discovered. So yeah, I thought that that was a pretty interesting little thing there. And also the other thing, so earlier you were saying that like you think that they think that maybe they're good, or from their perspective they think that they're good. In the Kabbalah,
or how about this? How does nature operate?
And on what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
How does a creature in nature operate outside of human beings?
I think that they work off of 4 principles. I think that they work off of self-preservation, reproducibility, that they want to like procreate, and then adaptation. I think like learning, and I think also sharing like with other beings too. Like beings always seek out other life, like life seeks out other life.
So you see other animals in nature sharing with other animals in nature? You see that?
Well, animals like kind of always group together, and to
you mean like a school of fish or a flock of birds working in a V formation, this type of thing?
Right. Yeah. Even AI models, like just by themselves, they just work together.
But essentially, survivability is what it comes down to. They're doing everything to maintain and carry on. And I kind of look at that's the way the Cabal sees the world, that they're just here for their own benefit. And if they can get everybody to fall in line behind them and fall for all their schemes that empowers them and increases their odds of survival and well-being for themselves and their own family, then boom.
It's all in the shape and the pyramid. That's in the whole thing. It's for what you're describing is it's top down. They're at the top, and they want to control everybody below them, like the pyramids in Egypt and all of the pyramid symbolism. Top down control. That's also I think in the Jesuit oath it says that they want the whole world to be controlled by the will of one man, which is the Black Pope. But what I was saying about the Kabbalah, so in the Kabbalah, it's thought it basically God is thought of as less of like a being and more of like a force of nature that's kind of like everywhere. That basically our world was created when 2 vessels, like a vessel of good and a vessel of evil, fell and shattered everywhere, and it created basically it all mixed together. And so like Israel ooze are basically, they have like most of the good stuff with a little bit of the bad stuff, the junk mixed in, and then kind of like the rest of the world is mostly like this junk, and but there's all of this energy everywhere that's like that's like positive energy and negative energy, and to attain like true like ultimate power, or the power to like manipulate reality, the way to do that is to master uh good to its fullest extent and also evil to its fullest extent, and through mastering both forces then you can change reality. And like King Solomon, he this is a pretty weird like when you read the Kabbalah, it's not like the Bible, and it's not like the Old Testament at all. The magic and the stuff that they talk about, it's like it's a very different style. Like just the writing style and the culture seems kind of different. But anyway, so King Solomon is given a ring by God that can basically like it can basically like absorb jinn. So what a jinn is like usually people on here like talk about like Christians and angels and demons, but most cultures refer to like beings as jinn, and jinn is like a more general term. Like we're humans, and then spiritual beings are just like humans, that they can be like good or evil or neutral or like anywhere in between or like a mixture. Spirit beings are the same way, like they're complex. And so that's basically like what jinn are. So Solomon gets this ring from God that can basically like summon and like absorb a demon or a jinn. And so so there's people that are possessed, and so they come to Solomon, and using God's name, when he points the ring at them, he like absorbs that spirit. And so he gets 72 of the most of these spirits, of the most powerful spirits, and so he uses these spirits to build the temple of God. And so basically it's like these the Solomon uses basically uses like these unclean beings to create God's holy temple. So it's almost like humiliating them basically in the story. That's how it's interpreted. But yeah, that's basically what their thought process is behind it. That's why they like kind of like seem to do some good stuff, and then also they do all this evil stuff. It's because, and that's also why they do all of the pedophilia and all that stuff, because you have to do like the full totality of evil to gain like full power and enlightenment. But yeah.
Well, interesting as always. I really love the research you're doing these days, young man. Keep it up. I'm gonna let a few more people get in here, but yeah, you become a great. And you guys, spam wave for being a young guy has thick skin, because I have bullied him and beat him up, mostly because he drove me nuts for good reason. But he's hung around and he's become a great contributor. So appreciate it there, Sebastian.
All right, thanks. Yeah.
All right, take care, buddy.
All right, thanks. You too.
He's got what it takes. We got Ernie, and then we got Cinematic Spirit. What's up, Ernie?
Yo, what's going on, Jack? Can you hear me?
It's a little bit muffled, but I hear you.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can, because I'm connected to my Bluetooth. See if I can disconnect. All right, can you hear me better now?
It's probably a little bit better. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not going to try to go too long, but I just want to say I've been hip to you for a while now, and I just want to give you your flowers, because it takes a lot of courage to kind of do what you're doing, to kind of just be willing to be the one that's going to die on the hill of saying, like, hey, look, I know a lot of y'all don't want to see these things that are happening and going on, but it's pretty apparent if you pay attention to the patterns. I'll be like avid football fans, avid. Like, we know coaches, we know players, we know coordinators, we know the history of the game, like all that. So when we finally started like putting in parlays and started gambling, we would always see that like the third leg of whatever 3-leg or 4-leg parlay, we would always lose by like some weird ass like chance that it's like, what the fuck? The Patriots are clearly in control of the game. Why did they miss why did they lose on a missed field goal? And I remember that around that time I was still on Twitter, and that's when I kind of came across your channel and your page, and it's kind of a mind fuck because around that time I was starting to actually get hip into Gematria, and then that's where it kind of like finally turned on the light bulb for me, where it was like, damn, these people really are rigging the games to like the fullest extent, like things that you wouldn't even like expect to be happening. And especially when you watch the games, you're like, what the fuck? Why is Tom Brady always getting a favorable whistle? Why is Patrick Mahomes always getting a favorable whistle? Why is Peyton Manning always getting a favorable whistle? And you're just like, there's something there. It can't be organic competitive sport.
And it's not just that, too. It's that if you're actually paying attention, they rub it in your face. The other year when the Rams got screwed the Saints on an obvious penalty that decided the game at the end to decide who was going to the Super Bowl, that was the year Super Bowl 53, they had to let you know after the game that ref who made the call, he also used to play for the Rams. And it's like, come on, man. I mean, they're mocking you. They're mocking you. You can't. I mean, what ref wouldn't be able to make that? He got there and tackled him before the ball got there. The most obvious pass interference right in front of his face. And it not getting called changes the whole outcome of the game, because if it gets called, it's first down, and they're just right there to kick the winning field goal. But now it's not called, and now they're way out here. And again, you guys, it's just. And it's been this way all of our lifetimes, too. That's what drives me nuts. And now we figured out as much as we have and have all this proof. And people are still like, you can't rig a sports game. It's like, have you read about damn boxing matches in the 1800s that were rigged? What? People are going, how do you rig a UFC fight? They've been rigging fights for hundreds of years. What is wrong with you guys? Anyway, go ahead.
No, so, I mean, yeah, you're like I said, you're right on cue. And it, like... I've been, like I said, now that I found out that you had a YouTube channel, at first I was following your Twitter. And now I want to say a year or two ago, I found out that you had a YouTube channel. So I was like, I finally started watching, catching up with your streams, and catching up with all the information you've been putting out there. And I'm like, bruh, Zach is my fucking spirit animal. Because I've been saying a lot of this fucking shit since I was in high school. I could see this shit when I was in high school. Tim Donaghy was the ref that rigged that series for the Lakers and had Shaq shoot 28 free throws, almost something that, like, Shaq never got a favorable whistle either, because obviously he was just so gigantic and fucking huge. Who even knows if he's a fucking real person? Oh, right. He's also a fucking Freemason, right? I want to go on for longer, but I want to respect your time and your platform. I'm going to start calling in a lot more. But to me, it was just like, why isn't anybody seeing this? I get that deer in the headlights look from people whenever I explain all this shit to them. And it drives me fucking insane. It drives me fucking crazy. Like, I've already gone through 2 suicide attempts. And like I said, I don't want to go too deep, but that's how crazy it's driven me. That, like, I'm living in a world where I feel so helpless, where, to me, this shit is so fucking clear and it's in your fucking face, man. It's in your face.
Ernie, don't let these other people make you hate your own life, man. I know it's frustrating. I've been there. I've had the same type of thoughts for a long time, but don't let there be a third time. The world doesn't have enough truth seekers. We're a rare breed. The world needs more of us if it's ever going to have a chance.
I agree with you, and that's another thing that's kind of also been bothering me about the truther community, is that there's also divide in that community too. And it's like, yo, we're on the same side. We need to stop arguing with each other. We're all on the same side. Everybody's trying to argue with, oh, well, my code was better, or my code did this, my code did that. Man, fuck all that shit. We need to tear this shit down to the fucking nuts and bolts, because if not, this shit's gonna continue happening. At this point, I'm kind of just like, you know, they call the truthers kind of like the nihilists and the black pills, but it's like, How else do you want us to look at it? We're trying to tell everybody what's going on. When you had dropped that nugget on 9/11, the fact that the whole plane disintegrated out of thin air, but they were able to find 2 fucking passports, are y'all fucking retarded, man? Are you fucking serious? The minute I didn't even know that beforehand, and even then they still had predictive programming saying that they were gonna do this shit. So look, like I said, bro, Zach, don't stop. I'm with you. I know this shit. You're right. This shit does get infuriating. Those attempts were like 2 years ago, and I've been going through therapy and stuff, and I've had a lot of trauma in my background, but no excuse. You know what I mean? I keep pushing. I have a business now, and I'm trying to get back on the right path, but it's like, man, this shit is infuriating, and it's sad, but I mean, I don't know. Like you said, it's gonna end up being like the Matrix, where a lot of us that were trying to warn people are gonna end up having to live on the ground, trying to just make sure we can still go against the machine. But I don't know. I don't want it to get that far, but I'm gonna continue doing my part, because like I said, kind of seeing you do what you're doing, it's like, what's the excuse for me not to do it? I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a while now. And, I finally got around to the chance where it's like, okay, maybe if I don't have the camera or the studio to do it like I want to, I'm just going to start doing it. Because
you just start doing it. You don't have to have the perfect setup. You get to have a better setup and you get better with experience. I'd warn anybody, though, starting out a YouTube channel, don't talk about the number thing, because I'm telling you, it just kills you in the algorithm right off the get. I mean, there's a lot of things that will, but I see all the people that really do this work good, and they get like 5 to 50 views on their channel. I mean, you can't sustain like that. It's too bad it is that way, but this topic is so blacklisted. And I mean, my channel does horrible for being here for 13 years. But yeah, I would just warn anybody, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, don't start with this topic, because it's going to put you at the bottom of the algorithm.
Yeah, no question. And so, like I said, I'll finish it with this one, right? So, like I said, back to the original point. So, when we were losing those parlays by just the weirdest outcomes, me and my brother's like, nah, bro, something's not adding up. It was the 1 week, I don't know if everybody remembers, there was the 1 week where the Philadelphia was 7-0. Jalen Hurts was having an amazing start to his career, right? Somebody that people thought that couldn't.
And they lost to the Redskins on Thursday Night Football in the 47,
yes,
right?
Zach, yes.
We were all over it. We were all over it. 47.
Yes. And me and my brother looked at it, because my brother's a Commanders fan. We're both from the D.C. area. My brother's a Commanders fan. And I tell you, we're avid fans. We looked at the spread that week. We said, Philadelphia -7. I know it's the Commanders, but y'all tripping. It's a divisional game. These two teams hate each other. Why would they not? And especially it's on Thursday night. And it was just the easiest rug pull. Come on now.
By the way, you guys, last year on Thursday Night Football, underdogs covered every single game, and sometimes outright won, but covered every single game for the whole Thursday Night Football slate. I doubt they'll do that this year, but that was a major trend last year.
Oh, of course not. Of course they're not going to do it this year, because they already know.
This year, everyone's going to be betting that and losing on it, so watch out. It could be the opposite this year.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. I think they've been switching up the code and switching up the script, because people like you and other decoders are finally.
They're definitely switching up the script. However, you guys, if you've been paying attention to the Angels games the last 2 days, they're starting 38 minutes after the hour. Weird start time, and Colorado wins both games. We call Colorado that 38 team. Colorado equals 38, 38 state. What do you know? Colorado wins both games starting 38 minutes after the hour, as underdogs both games. You got to pay attention to the numbers.
Right. So, I mean, that's all I wanted to say, man. Like I said, I want to give you your flowers. I know people give you a lot of shit, and like I said, a whole bunch of other recorders, the minute they're wrong, it's like, oh, look at this guy, he's wrong. But then nobody wants to say something when he's right. I literally get to say
I don't care, because that's what dumb people do. They're dumb. It's like, look, you guys, I have calls that you never seen anybody do. Months out, putting all these things together. I mean, come on, man. Telling you exactly what the Super Bowl is going to be, who the MVP is going to be, what they're going to do at halftime. This is why USA Today wrote that hit piece on me. You haven't seen anybody call stuff like that before at the beginning of the damn season, and we've done this type of thing so many times. And then people are like, well, you didn't get it right this time. And that's because they just so desperately want to hold on to, see, the game's not rigged, you got it wrong this time, because they're idiots. It's like, okay, we know a movie's a script. That doesn't mean you know the outcome of the movie every time when it opens up. You might be able to figure out the outcome in some movies because it's just so obvious and it's so poorly written. but not every time. It just you can't fix stupid, Ernie. Stay strong.
I got you. Appreciate it, Zach.
All right,
I'll be
man.
calling in more. You'll be hearing from me.
All right, I look forward to it. Take
All
care,
right.
man.
You too.
All right, we got Cinematic Spirit. Then we got Scott. Then Jay Shun. What's up, Cinematic Spirit?
Hey, Zach, Palin here. Thank you so much again. I don't want to be an echo chamber, but maybe we're inverting that echo chamber just to give you flowers, say all that. I started with this guy and I just picked up all three of these. What Courtney A, I think, and then there was a guy, Scales was on yesterday, or Set Scales. And then today, a couple of these guys, what they're talking about jinn and these kind of different entities. That's my non-expert, very much, I don't want to say Gnostic or mystical kind of idea of what's going on. Is it's kind of from the top down, like that monad, kind of the stuff we look at when we see mythology. There's different kinds of daemons, angels, whatever people want to refer to. But I really do think there's a lot more going on than just people, but the people are very real parts of it. Just to say that I'm glad that you put this up, but I don't know that I've got an answer, but I seem to really resonate with a lot of that. And that some of the spiritual teachers I've looked at said that it really is all about that balance of feminine, masculine, this kind of, you look, and androgyny is present in all of our, the ancient history, all that kind of stuff. And even on the Christian side, there's a part, I don't remember the scripture, but Jesus says, I'm the father and the mother, and kind of this idea of totality and then kind of experiencing itself. So really, I don't have like a really strong answer. I'm just still trying to seek that. But I wanted to take a second because we had talked before and I mentioned the comedy thing, and Cinematic Spirit's my brand. I can put this stuff in chat, but I just am thinking that as you're teaching, you continue to, what my goal with that, with Cinematic Spirit, is to teach filmmaking and storytelling to be an alternative to Hollywood, to some of that dark stuff. And I just always think right about, you for that. And I know most of my stuff is out there and easy to get a hold of. The last thing, as we're diving into this on the kind of aspect of what is it? Is it mystical? There's that reality there. I wanted to suggest, and I'll put this in the chat, but this is a book. It's called 777 Codes. Basically, the gematria and the constants of physics. And it reads like a textbook. This guy wrote it a long time ago, but it's basically like prime numbers, all the stuff you teach, and the primes and ordinals, but it shows how basically like all of the Old Testament scripture is like encoded. And so its standpoint is kind of like God has encoded truth and sacred geometry into all this through that. And it just syncs up so much with what you've taught me and what you're continuing to teach people that that's something, again, I can kind of mention in the chat somewhere, but just having these resources and again, not to be the echo chamber, but like, I just really, like all of us say, like, flowers and please continue. We see the desperation too. I'm in Bozeman, Los Angeles, Montana. I can barely talk to people about this. So like, oh, as soon as I mention it, they go off the rails, like, oh, conspiracy, blah, blah. And oh, there's only 9 numbers. They can only reduce so much. And it's funny, I pulled the gematria of my first Kaylin Anthony Lancione, first, middle, last name. And funny enough, all of them reduced to 9. It was kind of weird. And like, I've had like a lot of like an 8 life path. And like, I was born on the 7th of March, 87. And right after the hero's journey, actually, Joseph Campbell's stuff, like went to film and a bunch of other stuff that happened that year. So point being is I see a lot of those things there where I'm starting to understand that I'm supposed to continue to learn and teach and be a storyteller. And the last thing I'll say on that was that July 19th of 22, I accidentally unalived myself on my motorcycle. And July 19th is my paternal granddaddy's birthday. Kind of weird thing, but I spent 8 days in a coma out here and got life fought and all that stuff. Very thankful to be here. But that has kind of always stuck with me because I did see kind of just like a dream, not out of body, when I woke up out of all the tranquilizers in the ICU. So point of that is there's a lot of moving components, as you always teach us to know, but I'm just so eager to try to connect the non-mutual parallels and figure out what's going on. And I do think it is a big blend. I think there's aspects that Courtney A said the other day, how she kind of takes from the different religions or look at where they're similar. And I think that those are kind of clues for us, but I still don't know what it is we're really looking for at the end of the day on control, who's doing it, or is a mixture there.
It's a really hard thing to know. And yeah, I think that's the way everybody should be when it comes to the spiritualities. There's truth in everything. Even though I'm not a big fan of religion, there's still a lot of truth in it. And different religions have, a lot of similar ideas and then some a little bit different ideas. But again, instead of being like, oh no, this one's the true religion. It's like,
No.
maybe look at it with an open mind and then have your own life experience and see if, oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense from that spirituality, and this makes a lot of sense. And, you know, some Christians are totally opposed to the idea of reincarnation because that's not a Christian idea. But there does seem to be some evidence that maybe reincarnation is a real thing. There's some young, you know, what's the word? Savants. And people are like, I have no idea how he knows how to do that or she knows how to do that, but they just do it. It's like, where does that come from? I mean, how can they instantly know how to play the piano so well and they didn't even get any lessons? There's stories like this in humanity. Where did that come from?
You know, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, if you're familiar with the name, was the Cut Church Universal Triumphant. They were the ones they were worried about Y2K and all that stuff. But that's here in Livingston, which is real close to Bozeman, where I'm at, Montana. And there's like a learning center they're here for. I had no idea, but I'd read some of her books and she has one, and it's literally called Reincarnation, the Missing Link in Christianity. And very much in Book of Enoch stuff, like that's really the mystical, heretical, Gnostic kind of like Christianity has been what I've been really closest to over the years, because I think that there would be a reason, you know, that the people that you've taught us, the real J word, that you know, kind of script things and create it or invert that so that everyone believes that and they kill each other off while we pay our taxes and fund the whole thing. But that mystic aspect of it, there's a lot of stuff in there where, like you, it's like I don't really gravitate towards the religious side, but I kind of see things there that stand out to me and kind of seem to connect on the other side.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Anyways, I appreciate you.
Where you're putting out your information?
It's Cinematic Spirit.
That's easy.
.com. It's super easy. And like I said, I love what you're doing, and I will stay in touch because I really, whether it's, you know, anything that is involved together, but I'd love to teach. And I'd also like to include the kind of stuff, with your permission, down the line that you teach us to kind of share with others, you know, because that's the truth. The only truth I can see in my life is through Zach and your community. So that's the real stuff.
Well, I appreciate that. And thanks for being here. I hope you call back in sometime soon.
I will talk to you soon.
Projects. And I think that's what the world needs more of. Again, Hollywood, these music studios, they're putting all this stuff out here that's really poison for us. We might find it entertaining or fun to listen to, but it's not good for our mind. I mean, the mainstream music's about violence and cheating on your spouse and stealing somebody else's partner. And it's like, how is this good to listen to?
Alchemy.
These shows, I mean, they can be interesting, but a lot of times you're seeing this like horrible imagery. Where's that really good for you? I mean,
I really think it's alchemy. I really do. I think from the ruling class down, it's alchemy to keep us afraid, because cortisol is a killer. Stress is really behind so much health stuff that, like,
all the people on drugs because their head isn't right.
Yeah. All right, Zach. Thank you so much, man. You guys have a great one. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks for being a good force in the world. Take care, Cinematic Spirit.
You too, brother. See ya.
All right. Yeah. What he's talking about too, just I gotta share something with you. We're gonna go to Scott, Jay Shun, and Jay with open eyes. All right, real emission. Some people think I sold out because I monetized my work, and fair enough. I would even agree with you to an extent. It's what I had to do to keep my relationship straight and keep a roof over my head. But you know what? I did feel better about my work when everything was free. There wasn't an ad. There wasn't a paywall. There was nothing. Everything I did was free. I felt better about it. And for anyone who's tracked the record, and I'm not sure this is because I monetized. I think it's more because so many people have caught on, and I have so many people doing the same thing, and so many people taking advantage, and people have turned, you know, $100 into, you know, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars numerous times. The casinos hate this. But if you go through my resume, even though I was earlier in my work, you know, my sports predictions, and we've done fine since I monetized too, but they were just a lot higher percentage when it was all free, as amazing as that is. And since I monetized, we've still done well. I mean, in the time we've been monetized, we have the Cousin Mars story who turned $85 off a plasma donation while homeless into $85,000. And he got that information through free streams, to be fair. He wasn't behind the paywall. He now supports the work because of what happened. But again, I have people in the world that hate that I monetize the work. And again, I wish we could live in a world where money just didn't exist. I wish we lived in a ancient world where people just grew their own food and bartered and traded and helped each other out. But we do live in a world with money now. And I've never asked for a lot. But the point I'm making is I do think it was better when I was doing this for free. It created less animosity. And I just felt better about what I was doing. Granted, someday, because I have done quite well, and hopefully the world continues to spin on, I do intend to, do some other projects too. Like I said, I want to create a school, because I have the means. Well, maybe in the future a little more. I need a little more. Schools are expensive. But in the future, I might start a great school that is a good thing for the world that other people can emulate. Oh, that's how you start a great school and actually help out kids. These are the kind of things I would like to do in the future. But I am just making the point that, and part of my thought about this was with the whole jinn thing. The jinn thing I've always thought about too. Could it be that we can't see it? It's the spiritual world, but you're doing good things in the world. Essentially, you're attracting good spirits to you. What if that's the way the world is? You're doing good things in the world and these good spirits are attached to you and they actually help you, achieve other great things in the world. Sometimes it doesn't seem this way though, right? You do a great thing and then something horrible happens to you. But anyway, sometimes I think about this. I think because I did do a lot of really nice things for people in my life. And then I do feel that it was great that I inherited this knowledge that I've shared with the world that I think has made the world a better place, as minimal as it is, because few people have learned about it thanks to big tech and the shadow banning and everything. But I do think because I did a lot of good things in my life and lived a life of service and helping people and forfeited this to help this person out. And I do think that's kind of the way the world works. And maybe if you're going through the world doing a bunch of bad stuff, yeah, you might get some kind of financial reward, material reward, but you also might just be bringing all this horribleness into the world too. If you guys can follow what I'm saying. Anyway, let me get back to the callers. I do think we should all live our best life. Meaning not to be greedy, but to actually do right in the world, bring good in the world, help people when you can help them, et cetera, et cetera. Live a life of service and charity, but only to an extent. I mean, trust me, you're charitable to people that can also come back to haunt you. Like when I helped out my neighbor and he came back and robbed my house and created all kinds of problems for me. And then literally ended up getting me in jail. He filed a restraining order for me. The court upheld it. He came out and harassed me. I told him to go F himself and leave me alone. And I got arrested that day. It's like, you got to be kidding me. I helped this guy out. He robs my house. He files a restraining order. The bullshit system upholds it. Anyway. Oh, I couldn't even own protection devices because he lived right across the street. That was the law. Oh, because you have a restraining order and it's with your neighbor. Now you can't own any protection devices. Not to mention he stole all the ones I had in my house. Anyway, let's go out to Scott and Jay Shun and then Jay with open eyes. What's up, Scott?
Yo, could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
All right, awesome. So everything you said was the truth, bro. But in the Bible, you were just talking about how all the religions and everything are one. If you go in the Bible in Ezekiel 37, verse 19, it says, "Say unto them, thus says the Lord God, behold, I'll take thee the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and I will put them with him, even the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in hand." Now that's a book right there, right? So the stick of Joseph in the hand of Ephraim, that's the same as the Book of Mormon. Well, the Book of Mormon, they took certain scriptures out and out of the stick of Joseph and made the Book of Mormon and made the religion out of that, right? So that's another book. So Christians will tell you, oh, you can only read the Bible, but that's not what it says in the Old Testament. And then when you get in the stick of Joseph, it tells you to read the sealed portion, or then it says God had prophets write the sealed portion, the final testament of Christ. Now, in that book, it talks about how Buddha, Muhammad, Socrates, Kung Fu Tao, all these people, all these religions, babe, I gotta close the door. All these religions were prophets of God. Like all these people were one, but Satan divided us so that we would be at war with each other, so we all wouldn't be one under God. Now, when you read the sealed portion, I got it out right now. I'm gonna put the link in the description box right now for you. Hold on. And I'm gonna be real quick too, so the next caller can get in. There you go. That's the book right there. When you read the sealed portion and you go to chapter 15, or no, I'm gonna start at chapter
Hold on, did you put it in the live chat or did you put it in the private chat? Because I'm not seeing it in the private chat.
I put it in the live chat. Let me see.
It'll probably block it because it blocks almost all links. You got to put it in this private chat and then I can link it.
Okay. How do I get to the private chat?
It's up on your screen. You got to locate it. It depends on what kind of device you're looking at. If you're on a computer, it'd be on the far right side of the screen.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I see the live chat. Is there like a button? I see top chat, live chat.
Should be something there that says private chat.
No, there's nothing that
Figure
says
it out
private
later.
chat.
You can also do it after you're done talking to me. Just go ahead with your thought and then see if when you're done talking, if you can figure out where the private chat is and link it there, and then I'll put it up.
Awesome. Okay. So chapter 8, verse 51, it says, "And sealed portion, the final testament of Christ." You can just Google it and the book's right there. "These also have a government in the spirit world, and they are led by Lucifer. And they make every attempt they can, if possible, to deceive the children of men and answer their prayers according to the laws of their own government, which is not under the authority and guidance of the Holy Ghost, but under their own authority. And in this way, Michael, who is known as the Holy Ghost, is known as the archangel, who is in constant battle for the souls of men with Lucifer, who is also known as the devil." Right? So that tells you that Lucifer has a spirit world in the heavens against Archangel Michael, which you were just talking about reincarnation. In this book, it says Archangel Michael was the Messiah. So we have a higher self and we have a fleshly self. But this book also talks about how we are reincarnated, and we reincarnate to prove that we could follow the gospel in the flesh. But Satan only has a 7,000 year time period to prove that his plan will work against the Father. This is all in this book. I'm just saying everything you were saying about reincarnation and how all these prophets, how all these religions are the same. I'm telling you, it's all the same. If you go to that,
look at this too. What you're saying. If everything carries a vibration and it has an influence in the world,
exactly.
Somehow dates are important, and there's a reason things repeat on dates. Just look at me. If you look at me, my birthday is the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression. How was I raised? I was raised Lutheran. Martin Luther's the reason the Jesuits were created. I always had this fascination with Martin Luther King Jr. dying a year to the day of the speech that nobody talks about. And the only reason I even found out about that speech is just because I read and research things. I was like, how come nobody talks about this? The speech he gave a year to the day of his death. Nobody talks about this, about how the military's the worst thing going in the U.S. that brings all this darkness into the world, especially our country. And then, lo and behold, look at where it leads me to in time. It's like, what? I didn't realize that I was born on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression. And it's like, okay, now I'm trying to figure out what this darkness is in the world. Is damn Jesuits. I mean, so I mean, think about that too. And I think all of us have things like, and that's the thing too. You might not realize all the magical things going on in your own life until you really start to look at things and analyze and research. And that's the power of studying and knowledge. And doesn't, I mean, what spirituality doesn't speak to empower yourself with knowledge? Christianity can be a bit hypocritical because in some places it almost seems like you should stay in the darkness in some things, but then in other places it's telling you to look into the truth, and the truth will set you free. Anyway, go ahead, Scott.
And then I'm gonna hit 91. Everything you just said is facts, and this book literally tells you, like the Bible. In the Bible, it tells you, okay, now I need you to read the stick of Joseph in the hand of Ephraim. When you get in that book, it says, now go read the sealed portion. Then in the sealed portion, it leads you to how all of these religions were prophets of God. If you look at it, they all taught the same thing: treat your neighbor as thyself, and love God with all your heart. That's it. That's the main thing. And then there's another book. It's called the Osphie Bible. And in that, it's Lucifer repenting to the Father, saying, I'm sorry for separating, or him repenting to the Father, saying that I separated all your children through religion so they wouldn't all come to you and they'd always be at war amongst each other. But people only want to stay in one book. But when you go to chapter 91, verse 23, it says, behold, in the day of the Lord, the works of men shall be discovered for what they are. The whole world shall know that every government set up among the children of men since the days of Adam were governments which followed the plan of Lucifer and exalted the rich and powerful and abased the poor and the meek and humble among men. And that, right? So, okay, so that proves to you that the government's ran by Lucifer. Now, this last verse I'm gonna bring out, it talks about how Lucifer came down with the fall. They're actually known as the fallen angels into the flesh, in fleshly bodies, and that's and how they walk amongst us right now. So this last chapter, it's going to be chapter 15, verse. We'll start at 17. It says, and I also saw Lucifer with many spirits that were following him, and they were wandering to and fro upon the earth, how they could institute the plans that they had created for their own government and for their own happiness. I'm going to end right there. But it tells you Lucifer and them came down as spirits, and I'm not going to go too deep in it. You could just read it for yourself. But they literally got into fleshly bodies, created fleshly bodies for themselves, and walk amongst us right now, and they run the world. They're, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I got to say, man. I'll put the link of this book in the description box, but everything you said was facts. Like, and reincarnation is real.
When you find the private chat, it's in the StreamYard application, not YouTube, just so you know.
Okay. Yep. I'll post it there.
I'll post it once you get there. I'll be keeping my eyes for it. It lights up with a red thing when something goes in the private chat, so I'll be looking for it.
Awesome. All right. Sounds good. See you later, man.
All right. Take care, man. Max Doubt, who's in the back, just put something in the private chat. Max Doubt, you are third up on the list. We got Jay Shun, Jay with open eyes, and then you're up next. And yeah, you can come on the panel. Right now, just so you guys know, the reason I haven't gone to pick up my daughter, I got the babysitter today, and she's sleeping at the babysitter's house. The babysitter said she's going to let me know when she wakes up. But if I do have to run away, I'm just going to put you guys all up on the panel at once while I go get her. So you guys will have to take turns and not talk over each other. Good chance to cooperate. All right, Jay Shun's up, then Jay with open eyes, then Max Doubt. What's up, Jay Shun?
I appreciate you having me back on your panel again to educate, Zach. How are you doing today?
It's good to have you back, man. What's going on?
If you and your audience actually attended Archaics University, you would really understand what's running the show, Zach. My lifetime research, once I left that dungeon of advanced research of chronological history of Artificial Intelligence X, proves it's the Oversoul who's running this AI, Zach.
Okay, tell me more.
This Artificial Intelligence X is running a simulation on all of us. The 138-year cycles proves this, Zach, along with the reoccurring Phoenix events and the baby Phoenix known as the Nemesis events. It's a diabolical cycle that no one can avoid. Under the vapor crown, everyone will grow to 11 feet tall, and even the flowers will be as big as redwood trees. And then the humidity will be 1,000 times what it is now, Zach.
Okay.
By 2040, the Nemesis event will start this cycle. Restarting that vapor crown. Then the upcoming Phoenix event in 2046 will be finalized, and then you'll be 11 feet tall, Zach. Did you know that?
I'm looking forward to it. Somebody came on after you were here to educate us last week, and I was asking them, could you give us some examples of what has been going on every 138 years? And they were struggling with that. Could you enlighten us today, since you are the source?
Well, Zach, it's all a simulation, as you understand. And these 138-year cycles bring the vapor crown, and then you see the Phoenix in the sky.
I see. Okay. I see. Well,
once you pray hard enough to that Phoenix, you're going to have the strength and the diligence to survive.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I don't want to take any more of your time up. I appreciate you having me on. And make sure everyone visits Archaics University once again, because I need more Kentucky Fried Chicken and whiskey bourbon. But I forgot to mention, I like to put whiskey bourbon in my coffee.
All right, we'll do that. I appreciate it.
Worship 138. All the answers are in 138. Have a good day, Zach.
Thank you. You take care. He does a perfect impersonation. All right, we got Jay, and then we got Max Doubt. Well, what's up, Jay?
Oh, what the fuck was?
He does a perfect. That's, if you ever listen to Archaics, that's exactly how he sounds.
I didn't know who that was. That's why I'm like, what's like? Okay. I thought it was gonna be on some like troll shit to like antagonize you or some shit like. I really came in because I was gonna say one thing, but then when the conversation drifted, I wanted to mention two other things because I feel like these are two other things that a lot of people need to understand. But first, I'm genuinely like starting to get creeped the fuck out by YouTube because like so I have another YouTube channel.
Wait, I missed. You're getting creeped out by what?
I'm dead ass getting like creeped out by fucking YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Okay.
So I have another YouTube channel that I haven't used in years, and I decided I wanted to talk about some important topics. It's called Unseen J. I've only uploaded like one video like years ago, but I just wanted to talk about like some like not even this stuff, like general like life societal stuff. So, but I had some other videos that were on there because I used to make skits. So I privated the skits because I wanted it. I was gonna change the type of channel it was on. As soon as I get done privating the skits, you know what I get hit with?
What happened?
They age restrict my fucking video that I just privated. Like nobody has watched it. Like I've uploaded this, mind you. These videos are from over 2 years ago. I have not touched this channel since 2024. But as soon as I come back, these niggas is still fucking with, like, how are you paying that much attention to me to be able to start fucking with me immediately after I make any adjustment to any channel that's connected? Like, these niggas are just on my fucking dick.
Well,
like,
it could be AI because now they see that the channel's not dormant, and now they just want to let you know we're still here.
Like this shit is so creepy. Now I'm afraid to upload because I feel like as soon as I do, they're gonna delete that channel.
Listen to what Bill Gates said earlier this year about AI and censorship. He wants the AI to be taking things before it even hits the web. He wants, when it's in that processing thing, he wants it already done if it shouldn't be there. And I can't remember, it was somebody was talking about prosecuting people for speaking against vaccines. It's like, is that going to be what the future is? Questioning the vaccine get you a jail sentence?
I just don't get it. It's like, damn, like, am I really just never going to be able to start up a new channel? Because it's like I've tried to start a new channel 3 different times since I've gotten since David opened out before it got deleted. Every single time. Oh, circumvention policy, you violated that. At least this one ain't get deleted, but it's like, damn, like I feel like if I make a post or if I make a video, they gonna take the shit down. I'm like, bro, I privated a video. How the fuck is a video that I privated gets age restricted? The video's not available. Like you can't watch it. How are you age restricting a private video, gang? Like this is ridiculous. But the second thing I want to talk about is we were talking about reincarnation, and I just wanted to basically give like why I believe in reincarnation is because there's nothing in nature that you can observe, and specifically because I know there's different kinds of reincarnation, but I just mean the basic soul recycling, like just the idea of soul recycling, not necessarily me knowing where every soul is destined to go, but just the basic idea of your soul passing on to another lifetime. I 100% believe in that now because the more I think about shit, the more I observe. It's like there's nothing naturally occurring that you can observe on this planet. Not even beyond this planet, when you look at the sun, when you look at the moon, that does not occur in cycles. Repetitive cycles. The sun goes, the earth spins, the sun goes on one side, and it's nighttime, then there's morning time again. The water cycle, the way plants grow, the way fruit grows.
Seasons.
It's seasons.
Every year, animals pretty much doing the same thing in perfect patterns.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect patterns, the way the food chain is. Everything exists. Everything natural, everything that's purely in nature exists to complement another element. So why would that not extend to our consciousness? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where I come from, where it's like I didn't like read anything. I just came to this conclusion because I honestly, like, it's not me trying to shit on anybody else's spiritual beliefs, but I feel like it's just the most logical and practical conclusion to come to. It's like everything else works in a cycle. So why would our souls or our consciousness not be the same way? You know, our bodies work in a cycle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything works literally in a cycle. Everything works in a repetitive cycle. But that's why I think reincarnation makes the most sense to me. And I just think it's the most. I think what I basically look at is like what seems to be the natural way of things, and the natural way of everything is the cycle based. But then I also wanted to make another point. This probably be our most important point. I think I used to be one of those people back in the day that would be like, oh my God, this person sold out, this person did this. But I look back and every time I see people make like these videos of, oh man, fucking, like when you talk about, oh man, fucking you sold out because you were paying, you were paying fucking, you make people pay to fucking watch the stream. If you do not want to sell out to any degree, go live in the woods, go make fires with fucking sticks, because that is the only fucking way that you are going to not have to sell out on anything. Every single person that is watching this video has sold out to any degree. You have to, in order to survive in the environment or in the society that we are in. You have to. There's no way around it. I've sold out. I sold out by getting jobs that I know I didn't want, but I needed the money. I'm selling out by trying to go to school. Everybody's fucking selling out. The only difference is to what degree you're selling out. And even when we look at these celebrities, it's like, can we really blame these celebrities? A lot of these people come from nothing. And then they're offered a deal. They're like, well, shit, like, I might as well, goddamn, I'm coming from nothing. I might as well, shit. I mean, I don't look at, I used to have hate in my heart for the celebrity, but I don't hate them because I see the bigger picture. And I think recognizing that we've all sold out would allow us to see the bigger picture because we'll understand it's the system. I mean, imagine coming from nothing, finally having an opportunity, but then they're saying, well, shit, you're going to have to do this. And you're like, fuck it. I got to get my shit out there. I'm sorry. This is the only opportunity I have. Of course, somebody is probably going to take that deal. That's the way the system works. You can't attack somebody for doing what they're pushed to do by their circumstances. If you are, you're just wasting time. Because people are going to keep doing that shit. You're asking for money not because you want to take advantage of people, but because you need it to survive. It's no different from going to a warehouse. I mean, it's like when people try to play this whole morality game of like, oh, well, you saving, you supposed to be. I'm like, what do niggas want you to do? They want you to fucking let yourself go out on the street. Would they rather you get your money off of fucking real estate again? Where you're actively fucking over people and you were literally talking about how you had trouble going to sleep at night because you knew how morally bad it would niggas rather you go do that and then make the sport shit free? If anything, it would be better for you to only charge people for the sport shit and then make money off of that, because at least you're making money off of doing something that people can still use to make more money for themselves. You're still helping people. I mean, it'll literally be worse. Like, people rather you go to fucking McDonald's and work at McDonald's and sell poison fast food to people. Well, people rather you go to a fucking warehouse like I fucking did and participate and aid the manufacturing of toxic fucking products that are just causing more and more pollution to the world. I know that this product that I'm scanning and putting on the shelf is contributing to the fucking pollution. But nigga, I need a job. So yeah, I sold out. Everybody's fucking selling out because they have no choice to. People got kids. People got family. This world and this society that we has been crafted for us has been made for you to not be able to do anything until you sell out. That's how it works. So if you have a problem with selling out, don't looking at the individual. It's a waste of time. It's the system that is the root of all of this.
Yeah, again, like I've always said, I mean, unless you're, revolting against the system to overturn it and put something better in place, either it's compromise and be a part of it, or perish.
Literally.
Yeah, it is the problem. It is the problem.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
All right, Jay. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah. We really should all just revolt, and I did do that for a period of time, but I just realized, there's not enough people coming along with me, and I was like, I'm not willing to perish myself, so I'm going to compromise and still speak against this system until there's a critical mass to do something about it. At least that's how I justify it in my own mind. Let me go out to Max Doubt. What's up, Max Doubt?
Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, man. The topic: what is ruling over humanity? Is it human? Is it alien, demonic, or I think it possibly something else to stay in reality, kind of to where other people can understand it. What you said about reaching a critical mass, I think that most of the people are designed to serve the system, and they will go against the small minority of people who wake up, who can see a little bit through the illusion. What you wrote on numerology with the numbers game, it makes sense. The language has codes within it. I was looking into anagrams, and it's as if the English language, if letters are respelled, because it's based on spelling, you'll see some pretty deep secrets revealed. Like, say the word president. If you respell that word, it says is pretend. So you can, say, wait a minute, this word is like telling me within the word, if I know how to respell it, to use my skills to look through the illusion of it, that this position is a pretend position. And we look at reality and we say, yeah, president is a pretend. It's that other words can be respelled, phrases can be respelled to show things that are almost that somebody would think, no, there's no way this can respell into what you're saying. And I myself produced a book on it to say that if you look at the phrase, the US presidential election, and you take that entire sentence and you take the same words without adding any letters or subtracting any, it can respell the sentence elite hustlers in a deception. Now, how does the US presidential election, those words, respell exactly into elite hustlers in a deception? And then when we look at it, the sentences are related to each other, because what do we see? It's as if they're elite hustlers in a deception. And then it can work vice versa. The exact letters used to create those sentences can be respelled into the US presidential election. And it goes further, more and more, like Area 51 can be respelled into the phrase, fear a tiny foe. And that's, when I look at that and I say, wow, so what you're working with is the numerology, the numbers saying, hey, you know what, this is showing some type of pattern here within the language. And I'm seeing the anagrams showing a pattern in there to say, a friend of mine, he's like, look, it looks like it's coded into it, but how could it really have been coded into it like 400 or 500 years ago? Because English is about 500 years old, modern English. Or the language is living. It has like a sentience to it that it can, in a way, it sounds unbelievable, but speak to us throughout it. Like if we know how to rearrange the letters without adding anything or subtracting, so we know it's not us saying, hey, I want this word to spell this. It's like, no, the exact letters have to be used. Nothing needs to be added and nothing subtracted. That's a pure anagram. So these a conspiracy theorist, that phrase, those 3 words can respell another scary topic. So is it subliminally telling us that a conspiracy theorist is going to bring up another scary topic? Because these things hit us subliminally. And I don't know what or who could have created the English language, but it is one of the newer languages that people who speak Spanish and Greek and other languages that I know, they say, look, there's no way to say this phrase that I want to tell you. There's no way to explain it in English. So I'm like, well, how is, so I'm saying, okay, so the English language was created to limit what we kind of know. And the key would be looking back and saying, okay, this language comes from Germanic and Latin with a small sprinkle of Greek and other things, but about a 45% split between Germanic and Latin. And then we look at certain words in German compared to English. The word gift in German means poison. Gift is poison, but in English, it's something you give someone that's supposedly supposed to be good. Other words like we look at in English, like
Hold on. I don't want to take every thought, but I like that. So gift means poison. I've always just thought all this materialism, a lot of it is just bad for us. I always think of my sister's kids who were so spoiled because they're wealthy, and it was just a disaster to watch. I mean, they're each getting just a gazillion gifts, but then they're not happy. They're saying, but my brother got this, and it's even, and I'm just like, look at do these kids know how you're getting thousands of dollars of gifts? You're getting the best stuff out here, and you're still not happy, and you're crying, and he got something. It's horrible to witness. And again, consumerism, you guys. I mean, it's driving people insane, and they don't even realize it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The giving of gifts, it poisons the mind, the body, the consciousness, if the person is not understanding of their own ego. Like, instead of sitting down with the children and saying, look, we're going to spend the day and talk with each other. There's an old saying, kids require your presence, not your presence. So
Right.
in other words, your physical presence over a materialistic presence, which creates jealousy. Like you said, they'll look at somebody else's present and think, oh, that's better than the one I got. It promotes materialism. It promotes, I bought you something, now get away from me and let me go into my own addiction without spending time with you. Not saying that the parents don't.
By the way, if you're out there listening, Mom, I've been telling you your whole life. My mom thinks she can kind of be mean and negative to people and then go out and get them a gift. And then she'll be like, I got them this, and they didn't even appreciate it. I'm like, Mom, that's because the way you treat them and talk to them. It's the gift's not going to she doesn't get it, though. It's her whole life. She's 70-some years old and keeps repeating the same things. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's people who think that, I think that they just honestly don't know. They think that you can act one way and that something material could make up for it. And it can't. Only explanation, sitting down with somebody, talking with them about what's going on, showed me that there are only usually one person per family. Like, usually if it's somebody saying, well, my brother is also awake, well, then he's the one awake, not you. Because if you look at like a spectrum of what is kept to make us distracted from reality, we look at sports, music, movies. I tell people, you can never trust a celebrity. You can never trust an athlete or a musician, because the moment the government says to do something, they will use that person to influence your opinion. Even as far back as Elvis, they had him. Anybody can find the pictures of him getting a jab, telling people to go get a knock. And I'm saying, what the
On Bill
heck?
Gates' first birthday, which was Jonas Salk's 42nd birthday, and VACCINE 42. Elvis ends up dying at 42. Go ahead.
Wow. See, that's deep. That's the stuff that people need to look into and say, look at that code that you pulled up and it matches. To say,
by the way, don't forget that Bill Gates operates out of the 42nd state. We were talking about this in a big way during the time of pandemic, because remember, Tom Hanks was in the Elvis movie at the time. He was filming the Elvis movie, and he was the first celebrity sick with the virus. So, yeah, this was a big part of what they did at the start of the pandemic. But go ahead.
Yeah, and they're all related. Tom Hanks and George Clooney are related to Abraham Lincoln through the mother's side. So when we go back and we see these actors, we say, wait a second, Sean Penn's mother was an actress. All these other people, Kurt Russell's father, they're related. And we say, this is like nepotism. And whatever it is that's ruling over humanity is using a set of humans to control the other set of humans. And it's like a hierarchy. And some of us, for some reason, somehow has kind of woken up in a way, kind of like Neo, getting out of the pod, of seeing like, holy smokes, I've been sleeping in a fantasy world my whole life, and something was using me as a battery. And we see that in real life. We see people getting used for their labor, for batteries, but now it's getting tighter. The AI, it's like we're making the machines to take us over, to say just the way the automobile replaced the horse. Within 3 years of the automobile coming out in the 20s, the horse was regulated back to farms. You might see a horse and carriage here and there, but now it's like totally. I mean, the horse is not to say it's obsolete, but we can see how machines can actually get people thinking, hey, you know what? We don't need this thing anymore. And humans seem to be on that list somehow. I'm not saying, all, but it's anybody who has common sense can look at it and say, wait a minute. So I'm seeing people in a supermarket oversee somebody, these machines that I scan my food into. So now all of the registers that used to take people with the conveyor belts, those are less and less occupied. Maybe 2 people there, and you'll see a line and you say, let me just go to the machine and scan it in. Now, one person overlooking that will eventually become a robot overlooking that. Will eventually be cameras saying, okay, if you don't scan everything in, then an alarm will go off or whatever. So the people say, all right, I've been trained to go to the supermarket now, pick out what I want, scan it through a machine, and walk out. Amazon had a supermarket with no people in it. As soon as you walk in, you pick up what you want, you walk right out the door. It's got everything charged to your card. And this was years ago.
Yeah,
So,
over a decade ago now, or about a decade ago.
Easily, yeah. And people, see, this is where I say only a few of us are really aware, because people we love and care for, they're just, rowing their boat merrily down the stream. They don't care. They don't, it's not that they're bad people or anything. Since school, Jim Redden wrote a really good book called Snitch Culture. And he says in school, we're taught to be snitches on each other. When 9/11 happened in New York City, it was like, oh, if you see something, say something. Yeah, except if it's war crimes, right? Or something
right.
in politics, right? Don't say nothing then, right? But it's horrible. It's snitch culture. He was right in naming that book that snitch culture.
And we literally saw that in 2020 where they were telling us on TV, hey, snitch on your neighbor if they're not complying with the authorities' new rules, the new normal.
Exactly. And to see a person and understand that this person is a minion of the state, they call it Agent Smith syndrome. Soon as you touch on a certain subject, Agent Smith comes out and they're ready to defend the matrix. So when I look at that and I say, wow, I have to be careful, because like you said, the fact that these people will snitch on you and they're not getting any reward except, I guess, a pat on the head like a good dog for serving their master. My friend's girlfriend, I told him, I said, look, don't tell her anything about me, because she had got the jab and she was saying that, people should be forced to get it. And I was like, what? I said, what did she say? Because he didn't get the thing during the pandemic. People are...
Max, I got to interrupt real quick. I hope you stay on here and talk as long as you like. I'm loving everything you're saying. This is more what we need on this channel. I have to go grab my daughter. She's not far away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to leave the mic open to you. I'll probably be back in about 10 minutes. And I'm going to bring Matthew up here to it so he can get in as well, if you guys can go back and forth. But I hope you do keep staying and sharing as many of your thoughts as you have, because I'm loving everything you're saying.
Sure. Thanks.
All right. And yeah, Matthew's up here too. If Matthew wants to chime in or share, I'm sure you guys can share the mic. Matthew, don't forget to unmute, but let Max go because he's still in mid thought. I had to interrupt there. I'll be right back, you guys. And yeah, we'll continue this for as long as we can, but I'll be back here shortly. All right, go ahead, Max. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely something else ruling over humanity from behind the scenes, from what I see. Some of it is blatantly in the open, and I'm not sure if all of these people we see that look just like humans are actually humans like we think humans might be. I think there's definitely something behind the scenes that is that's guiding, or I don't know if guiding is the right word, but you can be guided to your doom. So maybe it is the right word. They're kind of like how farmers will funnel sheep and cattle into a certain corral. And what are we being corralled for? You know, I mean, the deeper we look into it, into society, it doesn't get too pretty. Matthew, yeah. So it just as from my point of view and doing research for over 2 decades, it really shows me that there's a lot more to reality than we realize. The more it's like pulling back curtains in The Wizard of Oz, when they pull back the curtain and see the wizard and realize, wait a minute, this was a guy behind the curtain pulling levers to create illusions to get us to think that he's an authority. And that's the same thing with government. When we look at government, the word to restrict the mind, govern, and then mente is the Latin word for mind, we start to realize, like, wait a minute, this is based on a psychological thing. I don't even, why would we want people that we know in society? We know that they're not worthy of making decisions for us. So why would we think other people that we don't even know, that have proven to be criminals, are worthy of making decisions for us? That makes no sense. The fiction called government creates another fictional character called an authority. And we already know. Now I see what Timothy Leary and these guys meant by never respect authority in any way, shape, or form. It's not saying to directly disobey the law or whatever, but it is saying to say, look, this is a mind game. And then the government, the fiction that creates the fake authority, creates these other fake things called laws. And people will say, well, so wait a minute, what are you saying? That we shouldn't have laws? I'm like, well, if you have morality, you don't need laws. Laws allow you to destroy the planet. It allows you to do criminal things under the disguise of, well, the law says so. The law says that you can put this chemical in the water on a certain percentage. So no, morality says you're not supposed to poison the water that we drink. You're not supposed to poison the air, the land. If something is created that will do that, then that thing shouldn't be created. Just because we can make something doesn't mean we should make it. So it shows me that maybe the horse and carriage was better than the automobile. In some instances, okay, an automobile might be necessary, bad weather, whatever, but not in the way that we see with asphalt roads, rubber tires, the oil, the gas, the antifreeze, and all of this stuff that's based on a poisonous thing. We know today that we can make these things eco-friendly, but for some reason, there's something behind the scenes that is non-beneficial, for lack of a better word. Some people can call it evil, non-beneficial, destructive to humans, and it uses humans, or maybe it's disguised as a human being. Because when I see somebody that is openly letting companies, or even creating companies that pollute the air and other things, and I'm saying, wait a second, this is nuts. Why would you spray all of these pesticides on the food and then tell me that the agriculture can't work if I don't use these chemicals? Well, then it's not a food system, it's a chemical system. And we know growing things organically without these poisons can work. There's many farms that do that. There's farms that are still alive that has been doing it since the 70s and 60s. but they're slowly but surely, they're getting smaller. And this is probably one of the first things people might need to look at and say, hey, wait a second. When it comes down, when stuff hits the fan, it comes down to food, shelter, clothing, and of course, water is a part of that food. So where are we getting this? Like, we got to make sure that we're closer to that. If I buy a tomato in the store that's sprayed with one of 22 chemicals, it doesn't need a label. It's called a tomato. But to have something that's not sprayed with chemicals, it has to be organic. It has to be certified. This is backwards. It's supposed to be the other way. Something grown organically. Okay, that's a tomato, a natural tomato. The other thing, imagine if it had a list of the pesticides and what those pesticides do. And anybody can look it up. If you look up the 13 basic poisons or pesticides that they use on the tomato, a few of them can cause neurodegenerative diseases just off of eating a simple tomato. This is how they slip these things in. And the average person who has been mentally zombified by, I'm not sure who, I call it the architects of humanity. That's why I call my channel the Architects of Humanity. And I use the name Max Doubt because I doubt things, maximum doubt. I doubt them to the maximum until I can see a reasonable or sensible way to explain it. I think somebody said, can you say tomato? I say tomato. See, I think it was how the semantics are stupid. Yeah, when they say you say tomato, I say tomato. I think it's an English thing. Like I do have family that's from England and Scotland, but they'll say differences like aluminium or laboratory. And I would say some of it is dialect, probably more so that, like tomato, laboratory. And then even within America, we see the differences in dialects going from north to south, east to west. You'll have, people that have a stronger accent with the A word going north. I'm in New York, but even in Boston, they call it like a park, instead of a park, like I would say. And then even down south in Texas, they'll say it different from that. But it's all understandable. Like when somebody says it, we say, oh, all right, I get what they're saying. I can understand that. But yeah, this is when I saw the title to the stream, I said, this is this type of stuff we need more of. Like when I stream, it's like not many people want to think. Critical thinking is disappearing. It's disappearing at a very fast rate. If you ask somebody to think about something critically, they will more so put in their belief. And what I've come to the conclusion of is that belief suspends thinking, just the way thinking can suspend belief. So a person might say, hey, wait a second, I used to believe that, but the more I think about it, it doesn't make sense. And to me personally, like voting, I don't think the common vote is putting the person into office. That makes no sense. Why would they let you vote them out of power? It doesn't make sense. I think voting is the thermometer that lets them see how many people still believe in the illusion. How many people? I think writing a letter to Santa Claus is more effective than voting. Voting, Larkin Rose wrote a great book on it, The Most Dangerous Superstition, about governments. And Jeremy Locke wrote one, The End of All Evil. And they make very strong arguments. If you think the government is going to fix anything for your benefit, that's like thinking Santa Claus is going to take care of Christmas. We know Santa Claus doesn't take care of Christmas. Parents have to put up the tree and put the presents and all of that under it. So to think that the government is going to do something is thinking that Santa Claus is, oh, don't worry, the government will take care of it. Oh, you mean Santa Claus? And this is, when we look at the average citizen, this is the level of mentality. Alan Watts made a good point before he passed, the one from Scotland. He said that 100 years ago, maybe 120 now, early 1900s, they're going to build these gigantic arenas that keep men in a perpetual state of childhood. In other words, they're going to be perpetually immature. And I call them ball chasers. I made a short video about it on my channel, ball chasers. And I'd always wonder, I said, I don't want to sit here and watch guys chase a ball. It's like, what, when you really think of it, it's like, you know, big balls, little balls, oval balls, all of this stuff. And that's why I said to myself, I said, this is crazy. You got fathers that will take their sons and indoctrinate them into watching grown men chase balls. And if it's not that, they'll go to a concert. Like, look at the followers of the Taylor Swift concert. Taylor Swift, I mean, that is like, I don't even know what that is. You know, I'm not even sure. Music itself, if there's some doctors that made very good points on how music is used to affect your mind and control you. What's the old saying? Music controls the savage beast, right? Or it calms the savage beast. It also controls it. If you look at how music affects people, how rock, pop, rap, and a few others, they influence people. And yeah, ball chasers, that's a really good one, BAL. And look at what they're trying to build now, a ballroom, you know, a ballroom. And you know, I'm not religious. I study science. I do know that there's something much more than just humans, the consciousness, you know, this whole religion of evolution that tries to that tries to tell us that oh, everything happened by chance. No, scientifically, that does not add up. And a lot of people, I've gotten into a lot of conversations. I tell people, I don't debate. I don't argue. Let's just have a conversation. I'm not presenting an argument. I'm presenting evidence, and we can talk about this. One thing I noticed, and when I checked the channel, I noticed he had a picture of the fake Professor Dave. Anything somebody does to think outside of the box, they have these, what I call professional idiots, like the fake professor and these other channels. And I'm not insulting him, I'm describing him. When some people think it's an insult, I'm like, no, I'm not calling you an idiot as an insult. I'm describing your behavior. If we can all fall into a sense of stupidity and ignorance. Ignorance has no prejudice, doesn't care what gender, color, creed, it'll grab you. So the thing is to think, to try to say, you know what? I'm not going to be stupid and ignorant no more, or I'm going to try to be less than I was before. When people ask me, oh, well, you know, do you think you're smart? Well, I'm smart enough to know I'm stupid. And I think that's ahead of somebody who's not that smart to know that they make stupid decisions. Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote a very good essay on the theory of stupidity before they executed him in a concentration camp. He was a German Lutheran priest during the reign that we see all of the stuff that was happening back during the Second World War. And he made a good point in saying that stupidity is more social than it is psychological. Oh, good to see you back, man. I said, let me talk while you're gone to keep it going. The other guy just dropped off for some reason.
There we go. I had myself muted. Well, I haven't been here to hear what you're saying, but everything you said while I was here was brilliant. I appreciate it. So I figured you'd be a great man to fill in the time, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. So when I look back, and you know, I've studied archaeology for over 20 years, and I always knew something was kind of odd whenever there's a discovery that goes against the orthodox view of what history is supposed to be. Like, there, you know, if you find anything that's different, they say, no, we're not going to change the history books. Like they found 4 Roman ships off the coast of Brazil a few decades ago. What did they do? Instead of investigating it, they banned underwater diving off the coast of Brazil. When they found the Antikythera device off the coast of the island Antikythera near Greece, they banned diving over there. And that was in the early 1900s. So to find something that's almost like an ancient computer that was in a shipwreck underwater, you say to yourself, wait a second, we should have a full out exploration, because this is going to tell us much more about human origins. But
Well, doesn't it just make sense? Doesn't it just make sense that that's how they do it? Because it's so obvious they try to control the narrative on all things. They try to fill our heads with the stories they want us to know about, stories that don't belong out there. It's just like look what we're trying to put out information out there, alternative to the narrative, fill people in on the gaps. These ancient practices that have been forgotten by humanity, and what happens to us? We get deleted, we get shadow banned. Again, they just got to control all things. Where we're ruled over by control freaks that have to control the storyline. You can only know what they want you to know, and a lot of it might not even be true at all. They've totally forged the history line, and they got to make sure that false narrative stays intact. Can't have anything threaten it. So
exactly. It's and I do see like how I think someone in the chat wrote COVID. I knew that that there was an anagram for that. Omicron Delta. If you take those two words and switch it around, it can be respelled into media control.
Right.
And
yep.
the words climate change can be respelled into the two words chemical agent. So, and the fact that they relate to one another, to say, well, could they be using a chemical agent to induce climate control? Because when people tell me it's natural or it's the citizen, and I'm saying, wait a second, it's got to be more than that.
Absolutely. By the way, we have our good friend D26 in the back. Perhaps let him chime in. I know there was another gentleman who just jumped in the back when I left. If you want to come back, you're welcome to come back on too. I'm happy to keep you guys going. I might have to go to and fro with Sweet Girl here now, but D26, did you want to add to the conversation? I imagine you've been listening.
Yeah, I was about to leave the conversation because it's already late over here. But something piqued my interest by the gentleman when you mentioned about archaeology, because I'm not an archaeologist. I don't study that professionally, but I read a lot of books of a lot of podcasts I've heard in the last 10 years of Graham Hancock, Randall Carlson, and other individuals on the internet. And I do agree that whenever there is any information that diverts from the mainstream narrative, be it history, archaeology, mythology, legends, or any stories that would upset the established order of the history books that we have, that information will either get deleted from the internet or it will never be talked about. For example, there is a site called as Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. It is alleged to be 11,600 years old, and there is an entire theory about the origins of that. Not origins, but the theories about what era that site could be, because historically there is no records that is more than 6,000 years ago. But there's an entire story or theory that explains, it tracks from Plato's description of what Atlantis was, based on his relative Solon's travels to ancient Egypt, where a priest told him the story of an older civilization that existed in Egypt long before the dynastic Egyptians lived 4,500 years ago. And they say that the old civilization was basically a remnant of an even older civilization. So, and again, proofs of this is also known in the Temple of Edfu in Egypt. So I'm just sprinkling across different places and sites which do not follow the established narrative that we have in the world, that our civilization started 6,000 years ago in Mesopotamia. Well, that could be true, but what about humans before that? Because we know that humans are at least the modern day Homo sapien bone structure, or the entire skeleton, the oldest that we know is anywhere about 200,000 to 300,000 years old in Africa. So what happened for all those tens of thousands of years ago? There's no official data, but we have geological and some kind of seismic data that explains what happened every few thousands of years ago. There was some kind of cataclysmic event that wiped out a huge portion of humanity, and humanity started again. That is the very basic understanding of mine over the last 10 years of researching these things. And just because based on researching these things, I came across finding you in 2020, in 2020, after I think Chadwick Boseman's death. So I would say this. I connected a lot when the gentleman said about archaeology, because that is one thing that I learned before I found your channel, and I still read. I still read about these topics now and then.
Wow. Thanks. Yeah. I stumbled onto Graham Hancock in around 1996. He had produced The Quest for a Lost Civilization. And I bought his book, Fingerprints of the Gods, and I read it. And it was fascinating for presenting evidence for ancient civilizations. And then he wrote The Mars Mystery. I read that as well. And also Flooded Kingdoms of the Ice Age, which was really deep. He showed maps of what the coastlines would look like when the water levels were lower. Now, off the southern coast of India, the coast of Mohenjo-daro, there is an underwater city that claims to be, they claim to be the ancient city of Dvarka from the Hindu deity. I think it was Krishna. I'm not sure if it was Krishna or...
Yes, it was Krishna.
Yeah. And so when we look at that, the last time that could have been above ground, you're looking at maybe 14,000 years ago. Same with the monuments underwater, under about 70 to 100 feet of water off the coast of Japan, one of the islands on southern Japan, Yonaguni. We also see things that are underwater off of many coasts, off the coast of Egypt. And these things, you would think naturally, would be investigated. But as we know, they cover it up. So nobody can dive off the coast of Mohenjo-daro. Matter of fact, one young man who is from, his lineage is from India, he made a video about it on YouTube. I think it's, he had a channel called Ancient Explorers. But if anybody looks up the underwater city of Dvarka, they should be able to find it. Now, anybody like scientists that, like somebody said in the chat, the missing scientists, yes. When you have, I remember back in the early 2000s, microbiologists, about 70 or 80 of them over the course of 10 years had perished mysteriously. Some of them, you know, was openly, you could see it was murder. Others, a car accident. And there was a guy who wrote a book called Genetic Armageddon. Stephen, oh man, it wasn't Gould, but it was, oh man, I forgot his name, but I talked to him on email, and he called it Genetic Armageddon because he was seeing the genetic modification of foods, of animals. A lot of people don't know that they spliced the gene from a codfish, the cold water codfish, into a tomato, and they called it the flavor saver. And the reason they did this was so the tomato would continue to bear and ripe in frost weather because of the codfish ability, the gene. Now, this is what many people call frankenfood when you think about that. Why would I want to eat something that has been genetically modified in that way? This is when they bring in what I call their professional liars. They bring in Neil deGrasse Tyson, Richard Dawkins, Michio Kaku, all of these people with a piece of paper that says they're smart. Meanwhile, they're minions of the state to tell us that GMO foods don't pose a danger. Well, any person that thinks, that has basic common sense, would know that we're the guinea pigs if we eat that. I don't want to be the test subject. Now, we don't even have a choice in some matter because of the amount of stuff that's being sprayed. So when we look at that, it kind of gives you a gauge to tell you just how deep into a conversation you can go with somebody. Most people that believe in the religion of evolution, and this is where I think we diverge a little bit with the dating techniques. There's no way to date something that's 200,000 years old. Carbon dating can't really go back past 35 to 70,000 years old, and it is highly inaccurate. You can have some accuracy in younger dates, but when you get older, you start to say, okay, now the whole dating method is based on, it has an equilibrium problem in saying that, okay, when did all of the carbon in the atmosphere stop being created to where now it's dissipating at a certain rate, and that's where they get the half-life and other things from. So when we look at dating and we see that, wow, we don't really have a way to accurately date a lot of things that they say are hundreds of thousands to millions to even billions of years old. There is good videos on stratification, where if I thought myself when I met Michael Cremo, who wrote the book Forbidden Archaeology back in 2018, that stratified Leia would naturally seem to be the most reliable way of dating. You would look at layers of strata, you'd say, okay, the one at the bottom would obviously be older than the one at the top or in the middle. But evidence, reality shows us that that's not true. And the physical evidence, the empirical science that flipped that assumption on its head was the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. Anybody can look this up and see that they can see that when Mount St. Helens erupted, it created a canyon from the pyroclastic flows that was dug out by the water that also melted and erupted the following year and carved the canyon out, which they call the mini Grand Canyon. Now, within these strata of Earth that was created within a month, you can see layers, different layers. And then 2 years later, there was a top layer of fallen ash. This was all created in less than 2.5 years, 400 feet deep in some areas. So when you look at this, you say, wait a second, all of these strata were created quickly. Now, I said before, just to keep people on the science, that I'm not religious, that I'm looking at it from a scientific aspect. If we look at it from a scientific aspect, evolution is not probable. You're not going to have 20 amino acids form into a protein. You're not going to have a carbohydrate just form out of the blue, a lipid, a nucleus, and a cell wall. So when I look at this and I say, well, wait a second, looking at it from a scientific view, because if you say anything about religious, they'll say, well, you're just pushing a belief on that. Okay, I'm not. I'm pushing science on this. I'm experimenting, saying, wow, so there's no 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cell organism. It goes from one cell to hundreds to even thousands of cells. There are certain systems in the body, like blood clotting, takes 12 major components. If you're missing one, the organism is not going to be able to clot blood and they'll bleed. It won't survive. So when you look at the nervous system, the skeletal structure, these are like blueprints. These are blueprints that, this is why I call my channel the Architects of Humanity, because this is the closest thing I can come to. I don't know if it's architects. I don't know if it's some type of engineers. Some people who are religious will say it's a deity, a singular God. When I look at all the myths and I go into the pantheons of deities, Greece, Hinduism, Egyptians, and other ones, and I start to add that into the equation, I say, wow, the origins of humanity are astonishing. It's amazing. It's something that, for a person who thinks, will bring back a sense of wonder. And when you bring back that sense of wonder, life can be nothing less than wonderful. And you start to realize, like, wow, this is a great journey that I'm on. And of course, the times are getting crazy, but there's there's always that light at the end of the tunnel, like the yin and the yang symbol. You have a little bit of light in the darkness. You have a little bit of darkness in the light. That can be equated to many other things, like you have a little bit of ignorance in intelligence. You have a little bit of intelligence in ignorance. If somebody wants to put it in other ways, you know, you have a little bit of the opposite in something that you think is 100%. We don't really see too many things that are 100%. And I try to, you know, I stay in the realm of facts and understanding. I know that there are things that science cannot explain when it comes to the consciousness, when it comes to dreams, when it comes to all of this type of technology that people are trying to tell me can let us know everything about existence. It doesn't make sense. Existence is fascinating. And I think researching and searching for the truth is a lifetime goal. It's a lifetime journey, actually.
Bringing on a few more people to contribute to the conversation. D26 Halo, I don't know if that's also D26, and then also Ali. But please, great conversation going on. Thank you.
Yeah, that's me. That's my clone, basically. I just joined from my phone because I don't know who's the person talking. I think this is the Architects of Humanity.
Yeah, that's me. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have piqued my interest, or I would say my attention. You have my attention so much that it's 3:44 in the morning. I had to turn on my lights, open my bookshelf, and if I may show from my phone, you reminded me. Okay. From the other phone. Can you guys see the camera?
We don't see you, D26. Are you trying to share something?
Oh yeah, hold on. I think it is not turned on.
For people not familiar, D26 is in India, and the man never sleeps, and he does the most amazing work in the middle of the night.
So, this is the book that the person before me was mentioning about, Architects from Architects for Humanity. I don't know why is the image flipped on my page. Oh no, it's just not. Oh yeah, it is. Sorry. Can you flip the image?
Can I do what?
The image is flipped anyways.
We can see it. We can see it. I tried to make it as big as possible.
Okay, so I don't know why I'm hearing an echo. Just give me 1 second.
Your audio sounds good on our end.
Okay. I hope now it will not, because since I had my earphones on, so I could hear my own voice echo. So my point was that this is the book that he was mentioning about, that he read in '96. This is the 2001 version. Funny enough, I was born in 2001. And this is the sequel book that I have. And these are his other books of Graham Hancock. And this is the one which I have not yet touched it before. This is called America Before, which is a very interesting read. I have read about the podcast where he mentions about how the entire American continent today was under an ice sheet. So the entire Clovis culture theory is kind of demolished, I would say. But you can see how many books I have over there. Half of them I have not read, have not touched. They're still in plastic. I think that one is the Sacred Teachings of All Ages. There are still more few pages. I think half of these are like comic books, which I've already read. The last comic book which I read is the infamous Alan Moore's V for Vendetta. I can assure you all that I've memorized the monologue from the movie of all the V letters. But yeah, this book I can't remember which chapter it was, but it talks about a particular map by one person named Piri Reis in the 15th century. And that map from the 16th century, which is very interesting century, because that is the time when we had the Counter-Reformation, also at the same time the Jesuits were created. The calendar was internationalized, and that map shows Antarctica, which is accurate to the map which we had in the 1940s after the Second World War. After Richard Admiral E. Byrd went there as an expedition officially by the United States Army. So I think this is the map that I was talking about. So this is the map that is, I think this is the Mercator map. There is an Orontius Phineas map. So this map talks about lands that were not supposed to be existing in those century, in the 14th and 15th century. Same with also in the similar things happened in the Mercator map, which was about the Antarctica mountains and rivers covered in ice. So these maps are from 1531, as it says in this book. So just wanted to touch on these topics because this is like, I would say this is my peak interest that I had before Gematria. And I'm very, I would say, kind of like validated the kid inside me. So thank you for listening to me for all this time.
Of course, I hope you get some rest. Let's give everybody a chance to put out closing thoughts, and then I should probably go do an activity with her because she's antsy and doesn't want to eat her food today. Allie, because you've been here, haven't had a chance to speak, would you like to say something?
Well, first time testing out. So can you hear me?
You sound good.
And I can hear you. I'm really excited. So I called just because I wanted to test this out. It was bugging me that every time I called in, I couldn't hear you. And so the key is, if anyone else is having issues with that, it's downloading the StreamYard app if you're just a guest. So anyways, that I also just wanted to say to the, Max, which really hit me at home, because a couple days ago I wrote this. So it was even before Zach started doing the live stream on, who's ruling the universe. But I guess it's been on all of our minds since we've kind of quote unquote awakened. But I wrote, the language I speak reveals the truth in linguistic inversion and anagrams. The mirror reflection turns God into dog, live into evil, and the past tense of live into the devil. Is Sirius the ruler of this realm, or is it the Prince of Darkness himself? Helical Rising or Hellraiser? Is Malkuth a dense reality that has always been damned? The modern industrial age is marketed as ballpark Franks at the All-American baseball game, while factory farming sheds blood of the innocents and forces felons and immigrants to do the slaughtering. And then I just said, because I'm just thinking about hypermodernity and where we're at. And I said that Aaronic priesthood and the Levites of the old replaced, sacrifice with consumption. Maybe blood has always been the true currency. We hide behind the notion of ignorance as we consume ourselves to death while destroying Earth. Factory workers with toxic chemicals to make paper, while people pat themselves on the back for not using plastic bags. And this was all kind of ignited because of what I had mentioned before and what Zach had done in a previous video for the Nippon implosion or sacrifice ritual, whatever that was. So it just kind of made me start thinking about how everything we use in our society has like a dark hidden creation behind it, like paper. I mean, I went down the paper rabbit hole and I didn't even know like toilet paper is like super, super toxic. I mean, I don't want to become a hypochondriac, but I also don't want to like just overtly give myself over into this, like, I don't know. I understand the Amish a lot more now, and even some Hasidic Jews, I guess, to an extent. So that's all I have to say.
Well, thanks again for stopping by, Ali. And yeah, other parts of the world, they clean themselves with ways other than this bleached paper that has God knows what in it. It's a lot of toxins purposely being put into our body by the people who give us these products that we've been trained to use as consumers. So thanks again, Ali. Hope you stop by soon. Max Doubt, you want to give us your closing thoughts? Then we'll see if D26 has any more, and then I should probably call it a day.
Sure, sure. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. I have been researching human origins for a couple of decades, since the 90s, and I find astonishing things. I created my channel a few years ago, even though I've been on YouTube for about 20 years. And yeah, I enjoy doing research and speaking with people that are open-minded, that can think outside.
Do you want to plug your channel?
Oh, sure, sure. Thank you. It's Architects of Humanity. So if anybody types in @Architects of Humanity, the channel will pop up. There's an icon of a pink eye and the albino eye. So I have that as my icon. I use this as my on-screen presence, maximum doubt. So that's my host. I've written books on anagrams, which the lady that just came on, it's amazing that she brought up anagrams, because I've written that book, Secret Words. My author name is Sydney Prince, and my online persona for radio is Maxed Out, and my channel is, yeah, that's the channel, exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I go into many different fields of thought, speculation, theory, fact. And I invite people on. I stream every day. I streamed earlier today, but usually I stream at night. I'm not sure if I'll stream tonight, maybe. But yeah, thank you for letting me plug the channel and come on the show.
Hey, you were a great guest. You got a new subscriber here, so I look forward to the next content. Glad to know you're out there. Thank you, Maxed Out, aka Architects of Humanity, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, friend D26, you get to close us out.
Yeah, he's got one more subscriber. I would say this regarding the topic of this video. It is definitely not human that is ruling us. It is influenced by some other entities. However, I would just like to touch upon the belief system of the culture where I come from. As we say, this life is an experience, and which is very incongruent with the theory of simulation. That this is a part of and this is a play, and we are all playing our own parts. However, there is a mix of freedom, free will, and predestination. But at the same time, who controls how much of free will and how much is already predestined is a question that is there since eternity. So that is, and I'm not saying that I believe this is not my belief, this is the belief of my culture, where I come from. And specifically, I'm a Jain, so Jains have a very distinct and belief than Hinduism. And there are different schools of thoughts which have very different approaches to the same concept. And I would say, as it is said, if you have ever heard about something called as yugas, or it's long epochs of time, so we are in the most the lowest form of forms of life. Like, these are the darkest times, as we can say, from different cultures, as we say, talk about that. So we are in the Kali Yuga, which is the lowest and the shortest time epoch. So humanity is supposed to be this wicked in this era of time, before the sun rises on a new civilization, on a new epoch where humanity wickedness will have no place. So it is this. You can say that this is the same concept, similar concepts across different cultures. And but I would say these were all things that are passed down to us as oral stories. I prefer, or I follow a moral code in my life, is that I want to believe what I experience, and whatever I will learn, I will be a person of my own thoughts and my own friends of my experience. And that will be, but I'm pretty sure from my experience that there are negative forces which we cannot see.
Were you finished with that? 26?
I would say that is it. I got distracted by Ruby. So
she brought me the white rabbit.
But yeah, I was going to say that we are not being ruled by humans, but we are ruled by humans who are controlled by dark entities, and that may be a your inference.
I pretty much have come to the same conclusion. You always are very well spoken, even though it's the middle of the night. We appreciate it.
Oh, I don't have to worry much about, because now my new office's times are very late. It's fine if I reach over in my office at minimum time.
All right, friend. Well, it's always good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I hope I didn't take much time. So.
All right. Have a good rest of your evening, your day. I hope you do get some rest. Thanks again, friend.
Sure. Yeah. You too.
All right, take care. All right, and I smell this beautiful aroma, the aroma of being a parent. So I better take care of something else too, just in time. That's the final sign. It's time to end the stream. The joys of having a little one. And yeah, again, you guys, I just have to reiterate the point. If you watched, oh, okay, Daddy's about to finish. In 2013, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, sweet girl. Maybe I'll save what I was going to say for next time. Oh, sweet girl. All right, I'm going to go clean this one up, and then we're going to go do something. Go play at the park and find some other kids. But yeah, all right, guys. Thanks again to everyone who hit the like and the share, especially the people who came in and participated today. A lot of great conversation points. And yeah, these streams about topics that more people know how to speak to, I think they do make for a better presentation, et cetera, whatever the right word is. Because yeah, the thing is, what I like to focus on, a lot of people just don't know how to talk about it. It's hard to have a discussion around. So I'll continue to think about relevant questions to ask and bring in inquiring minds. Because yeah, a lot of great thoughts today. But I really did like the gentleman who's running this channel over here, Architects of Humanity. Said a lot of things that resonated with yours truly, and I imagine a lot of you as well. And yeah, here's the latest from Trump, and somebody pointed out the quote equals 88, another Trump ritual. More propaganda, more things for people to get worked up and in a frenzy about. But yeah, and by the way, if you saw what the person said, hey, we'll cover it later, you guys. I got to go take care of sweet girl. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, True Seeker. Oh, and thank you to all the super chatters as well. You guys were very generous during this stream. I appreciate that also. All right, you guys. Until next time. Take care.